Hi there, and welcome to the Call Cinema. As you can see, I am here with. Do it the other way. I'll get it right. I suck at this.
Me too.
Uh, with Ryan from Disconnected, who has an amazing channel, and he was here for the halfway to Black Friday sale. And with his channel, he deals a lot with more like where I've done a bit of the review stuff lately. Ryan deals with a lot of the knowledge stuff, and that's been a big focus on his channel. And in all honesty, of all the channels that are on here, you kind of remind me the most of myself when I was on, hopefully at my best, but a better version of that. You do some
Thank you.
good stuff. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody there in the U.S. Hey there, Dave, Franco, Cam, and all, and Ice, and Ryan, and Zombies, and Eric. Tonight, we're going to be looking at all the different sales there. The really cool thing about Disconnected, if you're not following them on all the social media, because it's disconnected across the board, I pretty much think.
Yep.
Whether you're looking at him from from Twitter, I think you got Instagram as well,
Yes, sir.
and Facebook. You have Disconnect Facebook. I don't have a Call Cinema Facebook. I keep saying I'm going to do that, but I never ever do. But Ryan is the knowledge guy, and I'm the film geek. Hey there, Neil. Welcome. And what we're going to do tonight is we're going to be looking at what sales are going on aside from these. We're going to kind of tempt you a bit before it starts, and we will talk about our guesses. And I'll be honest, I'm not really sure this time around. This is the first time that I haven't been sure when it came. Now I'm pretty sure one of them is going to be Visual Maniac. That's what I'm pretty certain of.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Everything else, though, I don't know what the other one is. They say a Cat 3. Hey, Mr. Tony did it. Heroic Waffles. And yeah, 120 new subscribers this week. And it's going to keep growing.
It's been a busy week for me.
Dude, it's awesome. But you worked your ass off for this.
Yeah, it's been a busy year, and leading up to these sales, it's always a good time. And that's the big thing. A lot of people are thirsty for the knowledge. And unfortunately, in the hobby, there's not a lot of people out there that are thriving with the knowledge. They're mostly just there giving their opinions on some things. So I kind of saw that hole, and I wanted to help as much as I could.
Exactly. There's a lot of people that come out there and they'll like say, I got this. And
Right.
they'll show this. And there's a difference between just being like, hey, this is the movie I got, and actually kind of like talking about the companies or reviewing the product or just really just diving deep.
Right.
And your videos kind of dive deep into what it is. One thing that was really kind of cool is you kind of talked about subscription. And that's something that a lot of people have kind of like brushed over. And me,
Right.
I've agonized over. It was my first year being a subscriber. How long have you been a subscriber?
I think this is year 4 or 5, something like that.
Wow. So you've been like pretty much like as long as I've been pimping the channel, almost you've been a subscriber to this channel.
Oh yeah.
To this channel, to this whole like well, hopefully, but no, to Vinegar Syndrome.
Yep.
And how do you feel about the loss of the completions package?
I do think that it's a little odd, especially coming from a company that literally started their branding based on adult cinema. I see why they're doing it. I'm sure that on the back end, it will help to only have one type of subscriber, cut down on the number of questions they get on, is this included in a sub package or not? Because they don't have to list 2 different types of packages and say, if you have this one, it is. If you have this one, it's not. Yeah, just across the board, it'll be easy. And in all reality, if we are getting 50% off of Picaramas, it's basically the same thing. You're just not paying for it up front. You're going to get it throughout the year and just have to pay, another $20 basically when they release one.
So do you think that this might be partially because of going into more partner labels and maybe, doing maybe less of the adult stuff? We'll still get some of it, but they've got a lot of partner labels coming next year. Like they've
Right.
already kind of not mentioned that. And I understand like Picaramas may, like Ice was there, Picaramas don't do the numbers that a lot of the titles
Right.
do. But to be bluntly honest, some of the Picaramas that were announced in the last half of the year made me wish I was going for a subscription package because they were better than some of the regular releases. When Debbie Does Dallas came out, or Phantasm and Phantasm Comes Again, or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Like I know that Jamie worked on the Phantasm ones. doing the features for those.
Yeah.
Jamie Blanks did, and I was really surprised. I thought that was going to be part of a regular subscription, and to find out that was a Peakorama made me feel like they didn't have enough, like this year for Peakorama, to kind of fulfill the needs, and that was kind of like maybe a bit of a placeholder.
Yeah, that very well could be, and I think ever since DVD started getting phased out through VS, I think that's when the adult titles started going away from the focus, because they weren't putting so much into the high def restorations on a lot of those. And again, to a point, I get it, because they're obviously making a load more money doing other things. But again, at the same time, it's literally leaving their root, basically.
Well, the thing is with these, they've been around now, was it 6-7 years? They change.
A year from now, it will be a full decade, actually.
Will it be a decade, really?
Yep. At the end of 2022, going into 2023, will be one full decade.
Oh, wow. Doesn't seem like that long, you know?
No, and that's those 5 years, 5 films, 5-year sets. Those came out just about 4 years ago now.
I love those sets, by the way. I bought those right away. Those were immediate buys for me. And I grabbed all 4 of those because I knew those were going to go to print.
Ragman here asked a really important question here: is what is Vinegar Syndrome's role in the partner labels? And the Vinegar Syndrome themselves, they don't have the actual role. It's OCN Distribution that is doing that. OCN Restorations that is doing all of the restoration work behind the scenes. And then Vinegar Syndrome just has that brand recognition. So if they're already doing the restoration work, let's do a little bit more to get some supplementals. Let's get a nice slip. Let's get some, good artwork designed for it that's eye-catching. And just by doing those few tiny extra things and attaching Vinegar Syndrome's name to it, they'll literally sell 2,000 more copies than if they tried to do it on their own.
All right, look at the AGFA releases, for instance.
Yep.
Which has been a company that's been around for ages. And, I personally, I love AGFA. But look at the notice that AGFA's gotten from this. Like certain films that, let's be honest, would have got releases, but they wouldn't have got noticed as much. But all of a sudden you get like a nice slipcover. Yep. And the first one, what's the first one you did? Was that like UFO?
The first slipcover was the McPherson tape. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't get slipcover edition that one. I don't have that one yet, actually. But I actually like that film.
It's a good film, yeah.
It's a decent one. My favorites, my AGFAs about were pre like Vinegar Syndrome. I have one since Vinegar Syndrome. I've got the which one I want to see a second one, by the way, is the drug scare one. Because that was a blast.
Yeah, the drug scare is really good. The ones before Vinegar Syndrome, I really genuinely love effects. I love Tom Savini, and I went. He came to the Kansas City Crypticon a couple years ago, and everything that he's had his hands on, that is the one movie I took to have him sign as effects.
Oh, nice. I had that in my hand. I was at Bay Street Video up in Ontario, and had it in my hand. I was going to pick it up. And I put it down to get something else. And I was putting a bunch of stuff on the counter at the time. So I had like a bunch of stuff there. And for some reason, I forgot to grab it afterwards. So I was getting my stuff. And this was my last day in Ontario. We're flying back the next day. There was a big blizzard actually going on. The cab was waiting outside. I had like this ton of movies. Like it's over $1,000 worth of movies. So Bay Street liked me that day. So I forgot it. But I was never able to get it afterwards. And I think didn't that go to print?
There is...
Like some of them are gotten at print, right? AGFAs.
Yeah. I know Bat Pussy did. I know... Oh, gosh. I think The Sword and the Claw was, and I've heard Lady Street Fighter might be, but that got announced as one of the ones that is going to 101 Films next year, now that they're branching overseas. So maybe not on that one.
Yeah, I got to say, if anybody has not picked up like effects or has not picked up Lady Street Fighter, I'm going to like pimp Lady Street Fighter. I love the hell out of that movie. It's so cool. She sounds exactly like Tommy Wiseau from The Room. She has the same place. She does. Yeah. But, it's not no diss in her, man. She does a good job. She plays twins. And, she gets out the twins on a lot of occasions within that film. Renee Harmon, who responsible for a really good AGFA film, and in my opinion, the worst VSA release, which is, and I still like it, but that being said, I still think it's the worst of VSA releases, and that includes Dr. Jekyll's Dungeon of Death, is Hellriders.
The worst
which
one.
Remember that? Have you watched it yet?
I did watch Hell Riders. I'm just trying to think what would be my worst one because I don't know why Hell Riders kind of clicked with me. I don't know why. It just did. I'm kind of thinking that Dr. Jekyll's is probably that one for me.
That's when most people like
Yep.
look at it and say, "Oh, I hate this movie," and I get it because I cannot at all look at anybody that looks me in the eyes and say, Dr. Jekyll's Dungeon of Death was a shitty movie, and say, no, it's not. Yes, yes, it is. It's just for some reason that movie, it did click with me, and I think
Right.
that's the weird acting choices that he took at the time.
It
And I
is
watched it
unique.
with my better half too, which made it a lot more pleasurable when you watch it with somebody else.
Right.
I watched Hell Riders. I watched Hell Riders, I think maybe with my cousin Raj, and it was I wanted to see more Renee Harmon,
Yeah.
but mostly I saw her acting students. So for those that are unaware, Hell Riders is filled with Renee Harmon is an acting teacher, which blows my mind. But okay, um, almost all the actors in this film, aside from like the big names, are from her acting class, and that tells a lot.
Yep.
VSA is one
And
instant hit. I don't really think so. I think the VSA's I got a lot of hits in for me.
I don't think it's even close to more miss than hit. I think it's far in the hit side.
Yeah, like even Hell Riders, which I was like, yeah, on. I think if I rewatched it, I'd probably get a lot of more enjoyment out of
Right.
it. I don't think there's one VSA release, to be bluntly honest, that for me is something that I won't go back to. Now I know
I
some
can
people
see
say
some people
Vice Academy.
hating certain ones for sure.
Oh yeah, there's certain ones that I like are better than others. I
Right.
love the Empire Pictures one because I'm a huge fan of the Charles Band stuff. I want to see more of that. I love to see more of that stuff there. Vice Academy trilogy, I would
It's
love to
great.
see 4, 5, and 6. And I know a lot of people are like iffy on that, but
Yeah.
they were fun. I mean, like, what did people expect when it came to Vice Academy? So Rick
Of
Sloan,
course.
like series of films, they were fun. Hobgoblins was a lot of fun. That's still considered, his best. But I dig the hell out of Vice Academy.
One of the ones that I don't think gets enough attention, even though it is fairly recent, Grave Secrets, and then I believe you got Alley Cat, didn't you?
I loved Alley Cat. I
That's
pimped
what I
Alley
thought.
Cat when
Yeah.
it came out, and people were like, oh, Champion of Bullets is the one. I was at the time like, Champion
Yep.
of Bullets is going to be okay. It's not as good as you think it is, but Alley Cat's a really fun film,
Yep.
and I definitely stand by that.
I agree. And Champagne and Bullets is, I mean, it's a movie kind of.
Yeah, it's not
I'm
fun.
not as hot on that as a lot of people are.
It's definitely one of the lower for me personally when it comes to the VSAs. Like, it's
It's
not one where I'm going to
quirky,
say grab this like right away.
right?
Like if it's one of those that gets a standard release, you're okay with the standard release.
Yep, would not bother me.
Now, do you prefer more action VSAs or more horror? Like what?
I certainly want more action. I think that we are keeping the horror mostly to the VS line. So if we're going to do something different, differentiate it.
It's different. I mean, like Morgan, you totally have to pick a Alley Cat. It's so cool. But and I love the cartoon like artwork on it as well.
Yeah.
The comic book fan that actually that spoke to me. I'm hoping to see more like that. I have no idea what the VSAs are this time around. So
No, nothing at all.
I know there's people that have have guessed and said, maybe it's Tiger Claws, and then somebody said, well,
Right.
maybe it's the Cynthia Rothrock trilogy. And somebody recently was just guessing and said the Snake Eater films. I would freaking love that because I was a huge fan. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I
Those
can maybe see that.
kind of those cheesy Lorenzo Lamas films, they were fun.
Right.
And that's what you want for something like that. You want kind of like cheesy action fun.
That, and it seems like they do a lot better if there is a name attached to them. So
They did.
that helps a lot on some of these VSAs because otherwise hardly anybody would want to see them.
I was a bit disappointed when they put out like the Cynthia Rothrock one that they did initially, that it was the one where she's the the secondary character,
Right.
as opposed to something like the Lady Dragon, like double feature, for instance, or Undefeatable, or some of the other like ones that where she has kind of a bigger part in it.
Right.
And eventually, I would love to see them do the some of her Hong Kong releases. I know that 88 Films are probably going to do a lot of that, but that's over in the UK. And until I'm over there, which hopefully next year, God, I don't know nowadays, but That's
Well,
what
don't
I'm hoping
forget,
for.
88 Films has U.S. distribution now too.
I know, and they've started to do some really cool stuff. I mean, the weird choice for a start with Gestapo's Last Orgy, not normally what I would have chosen for like kind of the break into over here in North America. I would have totally went with one of their martial arts films.
Right. And I understand why they did, and it definitely set forth what the label was going to be about in the US and the fact that they couldn't release it in the UK. So
True.
I think it was a bold move to come out with something with that title too. It made some headlines, it got people interested, and it really just got them some attention.
And at the end of the day, that's the thing, right? You want to get that attention.
Right.
You want it there, but you want them to be like talking about your label. Get the video nasty stuff
Right.
out there. And people collect that.
As much as some of these Shaw Brothers titles are good and kind of well known, they're mostly niche. And so for somebody that knows like Disciples of Shaolin, that's not going to sound anywhere near as intriguing as something like Gestapo's Last Orgy, obviously.
Umbrella announced today
Yep.
they're doing a martial arts label as well. It starts out with Bruce Lee's The Big Boss, actually. So I got an email actually probably late last night with woke me up actually.
It's a good first title
Big
too.
Boss there. Yeah. So I'm actually looking forward to that line. They're doing like a kind of a card with the poster on the
It
inside.
looks nice.
So I'm hoping that comes along. I work with Umbrella, so I'm hoping that comes along my way, because this is a key thing that I'm seeing a lot of companies are starting to do. Like 88 Films does it, Umbrella does it. I wish we did it more over here in North America. Is the sub-label thing.
Yep.
Because it really helps out when you're buying, when you want to collect certain titles.
I agree.
Like look at like 88 Films. They got their Italian collection, they got their Asia collection, they have like the different types of cult collections, even though like a DVD collection that they use. Umbrella has like in the last like couple months, there's been the martial arts one, the Central Cinema. We've had the World Cinema added to
Sunburnt
it as
Films.
well. Yeah, exactly. And then there's Sunburnt Films. That's my favorite label that they do. Bar none. Like Malcolm, The Big Steel, stuff like that. That's my happy place. That's what I watch over and over again.
Yeah, it's a good line. I'm glad they went with that. And the biggest thing is they're getting a lot of attention for titles that just nobody was talking about.
And that's the killer part. There's still plenty of stuff that on Blu-ray that we haven't got over here in North America on Blu-ray.
Right.
And it's been like it's been exciting to see that. Usually I gotta go out and like I buy like a few of those. I got some coming actually, I think hopefully in the new year. Because it takes a lot longer to get it like shipped out.
Yeah, Australia packages take forever. I buy from Imprint a lot, and man, it is wild. You'll get a shipping notification, and it won't show up for 3.5 weeks.
Imprint is though gorgeous stuff. I have not got anything, but they look gorgeous. They look expensive as hell though. That's
they're not super cheap, but at the end of the day, you got to remember that when you're looking at their website, and this is mostly for the people in the US, because this is where I hear most of the complaints from. When you're looking at the website, it does have a dollar sign, but it's the Australian dollar. So when it says, I think the new single edition titles are $34.95, that's an Australian. So in US, it's closer to like 26, 27, which is basically regular boutique level prices. But then they get you because shipping is literally like $40 Australian. So after you buy 4 or 5 titles, you're putting out $23 just for shipping. So it's like you're paying for an extra film.
They got to do what Umbrella does, where they put it like that. When you do so much, you get like so much off. Because if you buy enough from Umbrella, if you notice, if you get like 5 or 6 titles there, then it takes care of the shipping.
Yeah.
But if you buy one title, you're hit like with shipping like crazy. But if you're buying like 6 titles, you're set.
It's worth it.
So if Imprint did that, I would be able to buy.
I agree.
But
a lot of good stuff in Imprint though. One of the big ones. Let's see. On my end of the year, I just put about here. It is. Not enough people know this one. Everybody needs to see The Mothman Prophecies. This release is great, and I love this movie so much. And yeah, that's a big one for me.
Did you get their Space 1999 set?
I did, I think.
I'm so jealous, man. I got the old school one, like from back to back.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
And I only lucked into that one because somebody passed away. Not even joking. I was at a Comic-Con in St. John's where I lived at the time, and this person had a table. And initially, it was just supposed to be a regular table, but one of the people that was doing the table had died the week before.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, I know it sucks. So basically, the widow had come, and she had taken all his collection of films and put it down in this box right in the corner. And she said, "Well, $2 each for whatever. It could be a box, it could be a movie. I just don't want to have it in the house." And I reached my hand, and the first thing I pick up is this like Space 1999 set. And I said, "You sure I can't give you more for this? This is it's worth more than that." She's no, I just want to get it's sad, but I went to a good home. I'm a huge fan of the series. I had some of the trading cards, even though there's one. Do you remember the episode with that big creature with the big eye in the middle?
Oh yeah, it reminds me of there's another show that had something like that. Can't remember what it is now.
I had the card as a kid. Like I got in a pack of baseball cards, guys. Those were things back in the day.
Right.
And
they're coming back too.
I hid that card. I hid that card for the longest time. And every once in a while, I want to prove like how I guess how fearless I was. I take the card and I look at it. It would freak me out, and I would hide it again. And that happened for like a long period of time. But the hammer box, that's great. The only problem with that is I got them all from Synapse. Did he have any new stuff in that? Like I got the Synapse editions of those Hammer films, so I didn't even look much at that one.
I think they do have some new features on there.
Because that tempts me. I'm a huge Hammer fan.
Well, and the box is so nice. The fact that they design all of the box to be identical with that cutout on the side, they look fantastic.
It is. That's great. I mean, it's like same with Vinegar Syndrome when they do their boxes. They just do such stunning boxes, which makes me wonder. This Legacy box, is this gonna be a hard box?
I think it pretty much is going to have to be, and that's going to be the easiest way to put it in there. And obviously we're speculating here, but the rumor is it's most likely the Rudy Ray Moore titles.
I can't think of anything else. Like I've gone through. I mean, maybe Ruben Galando Jr., but if it's, I cannot think of anything else. New commentaries. Art said there's new commentaries on that Hammer set, which is fantastic. I'm a commentary
Taboo,
guy.
maybe.
Taboo. I can see them doing a set like a box thing. That's the risk,
right?
Eventually, especially if they're getting like less Peakoramas,
right.
Then even though I got all the Taboo films, I'm not going to lie, and I do think if you're buying some of the adult titles, then the Taboo series, Pretty Peaches Trilogy, you get it all in one go. Mascara, again, another one I can recommend when it comes to that. But what's your biggest recommendation, like going into the sale? If you were to say, like, if you had like a top 5.
Well, everybody that knows my channel, which I'm sure you're knowing that I'm going to say this off the bat, but Buddies is my personal, the one that I've heralded from the Vinegar Syndrome catalog that hardly anybody but myself ever talks about. I love that damn movie. It is so human and endearing, and just I don't know, it sticks out from the Vinegar Syndrome catalog in such a almost prestige way that you got to give it a watch.
Do you think the prestige stuff kind of falls under the radar sometimes?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that month of Art House that they did with The Passing and those fourth, what else were in there? Night Owl.
Night Owl is actually a really good film. I actually like that a lot.
Well, all of them that month were good, and just everybody. Oh, Putney Swope was the other one that was in there too, and Putney Swope is amazing, and people just overlooked that entire month, and I don't understand it.
Well, Paul Schrader came out, like a Paul Schrader. Yeah. Patty Hearst comes out, and like barely anybody blinks an eye.
Yep, and I put that in my recommendation video, and I said, this is a Paul Schrader title. That should be enough, and you should own this right now.
Exactly. Like if you ever go to like Indicator and you're looking at Indicator titles, Paul Schrader's got some nice stuff. Got a nice little film called Blue Collar that everybody should own, and I don't own it yet, so I need to get that in the next sale.
And I believe that's out on Kino in the U.S. if everybody's wondering.
Yeah, though if you can get the edition from Indicator, there's some extra features on there, including like a masterclass from Paul Schrader on like.
Well, and it's much nicer, anyways. If you can get it, go for the Indicator by all means.
Indicator does some great stuff. Like,
oh yeah,
the one I don't have a lot of movies coming for Christmas this year, but when my better half has said, okay, is there anything that I can get you? The indicator had a sale literally that week, and so I said, get me something indicator. So I picked out the Hammer box set that I didn't have, the pirate one, which nobody apparently watches but me, but I love pirate films. And I picked out the Collector, which is a really good Terrence Stamp film that I just utterly adore. And I said, I really would love to get these film noir sets, but I can't afford to do them right now.
Right.
So I got a notification later on that the film noir sets are coming, and there's customs fee on them. I'm like, I didn't order the film noir sets, and I better have ordered me some secret like Christmas titles. But yeah, so I'm very stoked with that. I'm about, I need the 2 film noir, the 3 and 4, and the Mae West set. I'm really looking forward to that. And one more Hammer set. I think I'm around 4 box sets behind when it comes to
those Hammer sets are beautiful.
Like their sets are second to none. They are second to none with their sets. And people say, like, who does the best sets? Is it Criterion? Is it Arrow? Arrow does great stuff. Is it like, there's nice box sets that come from Vinegar Syndrome. For me, Indicator tops it when it comes to the box sets. And I'm going to go there. Severin is probably number 2.
They've gotten there.
It's just insane. Like to take Al Adamson, for instance, and take that director and say, okay, we're going to do an amazing box set for what he's done. And then we're going to take Andy Milligan, who's not such a great director, and say we're going to put out all his Hunchback movies and stuff like that. Yep. And that being said, I would, if I had the dough, if I had the bones, man, I would 100% buy the Andy Milligan set. Like, I, make fun of it a bit, but I would be the person, like, if tomorrow, like, my lotto ticket numbers came in, I'm like, oh, it looks like the Andy Milligan set's going to be mine finally. And that's what it comes down to.
While I agree with Severin, I gotta say though, is their packaging is kind of rough. The cardboard sleeves and the way that even the Al Adamson box, if you get into it and you actually watch the films, the glue is starting to come off on the spine, and it's
hasn't had a problem yet. Like, and I've watched, but that being said, you never know. But I do like. I'm weird. I like that the kind of the pull-out ones.
Right.
Now I know a lot of people don't. Like, I know that the Alien set that I got, the Alien Quadrology set, that had the same thing with it, and I enjoyed the hell of that.
I think if they were trying to skimp out on space, I kind of wish that they went with the super slimline individual cases for the films, and even if they were 2-disc sets for those really thin ones, I think that'd be great.
Well, indicators, like, again, they're the key.
Yep.
When it comes to that.
Especially on the packaging there.
I think if I had to pick anything, and I did like some older dives when I was talking about the Vinegar Syndrome like picks last night, because I did like a recommendation video myself, and I didn't plan to do one actually, because you've done such a good one. I'd seen everybody else did a great one. Brian from Just a Disc did a really good one. Master Cast did a really good one. But there was just titles that I thought people were kind of missing on, and just different weirder titles too. And there's stuff that I didn't mention that I really like Olivia, which I think is a way better film than people give it credit for.
And it's overlooked.
It's if you live in the UK and there's an 88 films edition called Prozzy. That's the UK name of the film. If you like that and you've got the 88 films edition, know that the Vinegar Cinema's uncut and the 88 films edition is not. So if you want to get it uncut, you got to grab the 88 film. Got to grab the Vinegar Cinema edition.
That makes sense. And I see somebody asked there on the side for any other adult recommendations. I was just taking a look. I was going to say Frat House. I really enjoyed from last year, and I do believe that one still has the slip available. And then the other one, Summer Camp Girls, was actually really good.
I don't have either of those. I wish I did. What was the one that I picked up a while back? Was it Josephine? Something like that? Did my freaking computer just turn off? I got a new computer because my computer died, which lowered what I can get tonight. So are you more excited about Severin or Vinegar Syndrome tonight?
For tonight, I am more excited about Vinegar Syndrome because we don't know what's coming. Severin, like I'm excited to see the films, but those are going to be there no matter what. I'm more excited to see reveals. Like I'm kind of sad that we had some slipcover leaks. I always look forward to those. It would have been nice to see those designs immediately when opening the sale for the first time.
Or we'll get a better look at the design.
Oh yeah,
We've
for
seen
sure.
quick looks in that. But Olivia was a nice surprise. Now, also Pale Blood, by the way. People don't talk Pale Blood enough. And again, that's another one that when the slipcover is available, I told everybody, don't miss the slipcover on Pale Blood because it's
It is so
really, really
nice.
sexy. It's one of their sexy slipcovers. And I love that one.
I love when the colors just jump off of the spine on some of those. Olivia's one that does that, and then like my Scream Factory collection, the Rabid remake by the Soska sisters isn't amazing, but the slip is yellow, and it just draws your eyes immediately to it.
I have not seen that yet. I have one thing to ask because I'm a wrestling fan. Is CM Punk in it very much?
It's been a good year and a half since I've seen it, and for some reason, all I can think of is that other CM Punk film that he did, but I don't think he was in it that much.
Or is AJ Lee in that one? The girl?
My
big wrestling crush. Like
I don't know her name, so maybe not.
She's like a short, like long, dark-haired girl who, that was my big wrestling crush.
I've not been in wrestling in quite some time.
Don't go to the forum. The surprise releases have been leaked. That sucks when people do that. Don't, guys. I mean, like if you're really want to have fun with this, don't go into the leak part of it. I know, it's tempting to do, but you'll enjoy it a lot more if you go in like fairly blind when it comes to this. I'm hoping that one of the leaked releases is not Ebola syndrome. That's my biggest wish, because I really don't want to.
I called that a few months ago.
I don't think it's coming. I really don't. I think that people are totally missing the mark on that one. They're shorts that one, and I don't think it is.
I hope it's not for some reason. And the only reason I say that is because I think it would be better suited for a label like 88 Films. I think somebody else. I don't necessarily think they would do a better job with it, but I think it would just fit their branding a heck of a lot better.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like maybe Vinegar Syndrome doing a new. I'm not sure sub-label. They don't really do sub-labels so much. I guess do like the VSAs, VSPs, and VSUs. For some reason, I don't think of them as actual sub-labels as much as just kind of their own thing. That's. And if that was like if Ebola syndrome was the start of a new kind of sub-label type of thing, it wouldn't be something that I would personally. That's just me now. Would be interested in collecting. I'll be like, okay.
I got to be honest though, if they did put it out, I'm going to be still very excited because that's the type of film that I really love, and I think that Vinegar Syndrome could bring a lot more attention to titles like that, and I am all aboard that train.
I think, hey Zach, I think I don't think it's a Vinegar Syndrome style film. I really don't. I mean, and I know that it changes and their style of film has changed, but can I be honest? I think that's a step back from what they're doing now. When we've seen stuff come out like Buddies, and we've seen stuff come out like Patty Hearst and Flesh for Frankenstein and Daryl Gentle's Trauma, which I think is one of the dark horses that people aren't talking about a lot.
Yeah.
That's that something like the Ebola syndrome would be interesting, but more as a curio, as and this is just me, as Blades is a curio. It's an interesting watch, but it's not going to be something that you put on a lot. There are Vinegar Syndrome titles I watch, I've watched over and over again. The Amityville set, by the way, I've watched the hell out of that set. I love that set. The Angel films, especially the first one and the third one.
First and third,
yeah. But yeah, so those are really third Giallo films I really enjoy. What do you think is your favorite? Do you have a favorite one that stands out, like a go-to Vinegar Syndrome? If you were to introduce somebody else to Vinegar Syndrome, what would you show them?
To all encompass what Vinegar Syndrome feels like, I would probably have to go with Raw Force first.
Yeah, I can see
just because depending on the type of person that you are, there's different things you can get from that movie. But really, it is it is for even for like mainstream viewers, it is sort of that type of curio that just makes you go, I don't know really what I'm watching, but I really can't wait to see how this ends. And it's Raw Force is, it's not really like a great film, but it's kind of like a Vinegar Syndrome primer film.
I think Wonder Woman could be put up there too.
Oh yeah,
Actually,
for sure.
on this play, especially since the music
Yep.
comes from there. It's one that I'm looking for. I'm excited about this year because I don't know anything that's coming. I'm guessing Invisible Maniac. Are you excited about Invisible Maniac?
If that's the one, yeah, I do think that it's a good Vinegar Syndrome title.
Oh, it would be a nice.
Yeah.
I'm not excited, but I'll be glad to get it.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, you know that it's going to get love and respect from this label.
Yeah, that's the thing, and I'm hoping we get some good like features on there. I'm really hoping that to go in with the VSAs. I want to see some Cynthia Rothrock. I really would like to see some of that. I don't think she's been represented. People say, well, their Hong Kong's releases haven't been represented, which is so true, but neither has her ever North American releases as well.
Right.
Like it was Insatiable. There's what's the one that she did, the one, the only one where she did the nude scene.
Oh yeah.
One that you'd have to only get from nefarious sources or VHS.
I am so glad to not go through many of those nefarious sources anymore.
Yeah, isn't that nice? Like to not have to worry about that anymore, and because these companies here have pretty much like taken that away.
Right, and not only that, there's so many discoveries to make. Some of the things I've gone over on my channel, I grew up in a really small town that only really got the mainstream titles. So it's been mostly my adult years, which the first 5 or 8 of those I was super poor, so I still couldn't find much of what I was looking for. So after that time, I was trying to branch out and discover so many of them, and it's time where I'm finally coming across some of these titles that people fell in love with from 1979, and I never would have heard of if it wasn't for some of these labels.
I was the weird guy. I was the opposite. That I also come from a small town, and we had like a little theater that was around like 45 minutes drive away. So it was called Charlie Reed's Theater. It was in like North Point, and they would have like some like I guess the mainstream movies, but they couldn't afford to get a lot of the mainstream films. So what they would do was they would get like whatever they could. And so I saw a lot of like early Jackie Chan stuff, a lot of earlier Argento stuff when I was very young, because that was cheap. It was cheap to get the Italian stuff. It was cheap to get the kung fu films when I was younger. So I remember going in there and they'd have like posters for a lot of the films. They have like a bunch of posters, so you could get one when you were coming out of the theater. So I remember going in to watch Deep Red in the theater, and I got this poster with the one with the doll like hanging, and like
Yep.
could not put it up, but loved the hell of that film, and that sequence with the doll like coming in the room, which makes no sense to the movie at all.
No, not really.
Still scares the hell out of me. Like that's where the whole like idea for them to saw.
I can't imagine discovering that one in a theater and not knowing anything about it going into it. Yeah, that sounds amazing.
It was a blind one. I saw that one, and I think I saw Humoresque, I think around the same time, maybe a couple weeks later, which is a Canadian film, a Canadian slasher film. But it was so dark that it was like you could barely see like anything in a lot of sequences. Have you ever seen Humoresque? If I haven't seen like the DVD version, the Scorpion put out, the Blu-ray. Hopefully, it's a lot better. But in the theater at the time, it wasn't a great copy. And it was so dark you could barely see anything. Like there was this, basically these people get stuck on this island, and there's this apparently this rich like girl used to live there, and she had a son who was supposed to have died, but he hasn't died. He's there, and he's kind of feral, and he's killing the people, but I could barely see anything. So we'll let see.
Yep, some of those old prints. I mean, the work that we're doing on these, and we're getting 4Ks of some of these movies that have always looked terrible, and now they're coming out looking pristine, and it's just amazing.
We got ticks on 4K that I never thought was going to happen.
I'm honestly shocked that we just got another release. I was sad I never picked up the All of Films release in the U.S., but man, it is a gift that we were able to get this box from Vinegar Syndrome.
It's gorgeous too. Like they really put a lot of work in this release. You can really see it.
Oh yeah.
Like my 4K release of this year was the Scanner Cops films. I'm a huge fan of the Pierre David stuff, and so when I found out those were coming out, that blew my mind because they're exploitation again,
Right.
but they're what I consider the best Scanners movies. I'm not going to lie, as much the original, it's okay. The lead, not exactly the most charismatic actor in the world. Thank God for the bad guy, Michael Ironside. But I really did like the Scanners Cop films, and I watched them. I watched them with my cousin. I watched them again the other night, actually, when I was up by myself, couldn't sleep.
They are good films, and they are on sale for the first time. And I imagine that they are going to be big sellers, especially tonight. I think a lot of people are going to jump on those tonight.
Oh yeah, Scanner Cops releases the Forgotten Giallo Volume 3. That's gonna go down if not go out.
Yeah,
I know it says there's over 1,000 left. That seems like a lot, but a lot of people went into the last sale expecting that Forgotten Giallo Volume 3 set to be on sale, and we're very disappointed when it didn't go on sale.
Right.
So to see it now being on sale for the first time, and hands down, like I like all three of those sets. Like no word of a lie, but the third set for me it's a superior set. Like all the films on the third set are solid, and especially Murder Mansion. I love the hell of Murder Mansion.
Yep, it's a good one.
Deadlock.
And I see Nerd is bringing up one of my favorite titles for the partner releases. Deadlock will sell out quickly, and keep in mind, if you really want Deadlock, that is a limited title overall. So when the slip sells out, it is gone. It is not being sold anymore.
Yeah, there's no standard edition. That one is there.
Nothing at all.
Did you get the? And I'm sure you did. The partner label release, Hey There Dungeon, with the 3. I think it was put up by Fun City Editions.
The Primetime Panic.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is it as good as a televised terror set?
It is.
I know it's different, but
it is different, and I may even say it's a little bit better.
That's something that I would, if good enough price on that one, I might dive into that.
Yeah, and the big thing there is they were TV movies, but we got a cut of it was either 1 or 2 of them that played in Europe, and it was a full like R-rated level type cut.
Oh, really?
Tony is asking if we can see your typing. Yes, and I am not in Canada.
I apologize. Everything goes so fast. No, I'm the Canadian here. Hence my super politeness. No.
I am in Kansas City.
You seem so polite that you could be Canadian.
I do my best. I'm training.
Yeah. That's a future Canadian. There you go.
I hope I get an A. Was that a terrible joke?
Actually, I like that joke. I had somebody on. Okay, I'm going to say a word, and I want you to tell me honestly how about. Do you hear the aboot?
No, I mean you can tell that you were trying to not say it.
It's because the other day I don't say aboot, but somebody said the other day I was like, because my job entails me. I'm a supervisor. I'm on the phone a lot. That's my day job, and it's like. He said, "You're Canadian, aren't you?" And I said, "Yes." How'd you know? So I heard the aboot thing. And I'm like, "I don't say aboot, do I?" I'm like, "Maybe I do, and don't realize it." So, or maybe I do and I don't when I'm not like thinking about it. It's
right.
like I can talk really fast sometimes. Like I'm from Newfoundland, and people from other parts of Canada will tell Newfoundlanders to slow down because we talk so fast.
Yeah.
I guess I made a concentrated effort when I was younger to talk slower for 2 reasons. One, because we talked really fast too, because I used to have a horrible stutter, epileptic, and I couldn't speak. Like you couldn't understand me at all. So I had to kind of enunciate stuff in order to learn to speak. And because of that, when I would go away, because I would frequently go to either Ontario or Alberta or areas like that, I would come back and I would have this horrible thing where they'd be like, "Oh, you're not from Newfoundland, are you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I am." And it's like, "You don't sound like you're from," like they didn't believe me. "You don't sound like you're from Newfoundland." And I'm like, "I am though." That's
I do a lot of the same things because I am very ADHD, like genuinely diagnosed ADHD, and I'm already thinking like 2.5 sentences ahead of what I'm saying. And I to kind of work that out of me, I went and learned how to be a pub quiz host. So I went and emceed and did trivia every week at a bar, and it helped so much. And just like you, I'm a supervisor as well. Spend a lot of time on the phone. I train a lot of people, and it's weird to say, but that pub quiz time really got my speech into a place where I feel comfortable, even on here, speaking in front of people and yeah, able to talk.
It does. Like, well, I guess both were younger. We never expected this to be something
Not at all.
well, we didn't think this would exist, but like speaking like in public in general. But I had a teacher that was really amazing. I had a really hard problem with speaking, so she would take me, and she would sit with me, and we'd read Washington Irving, this The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, and every Friday she would have me read in front of the class, and not in a bad way, as in like read in front of the class or the ruler comes down, but in
Right.
kind of like a really nice way. And it ended up that's how I got into acting. Was from that. I liked being in front of people. I liked being on there, and from there came the stage and acting, and I got to do. Hey DJ, welcome man. I got to do like a lot of really nice stuff, whether it be Sophocles and like a lot of really good Shakespeare, and then Romeo and Juliet, which I freaking hated. I really do. I'm sorry. It's my least favorite like Shakespearean play out there. It's no, I hate doing it.
That's the Canadian word, by the way, that really screams that Aaron Pin is a Canadian. Is sorry.
Which one?
We all say sorry, and you say sorry.
Sorry, yeah, that's the right Canadian. I don't know. It could be Brooklyn. You never. No, there are certain words, man. You will know is Canadian. I'll drop an H, or I'll add an H somewhere.
Yep.
And like if you ever have any doubts, like how Canadian I am, oh my god, like just watch me talk for longer than half an hour. You will know. You will definitely know.
That's true.
I'm excited for this. I'm excited for the Severin sale. I'm not going to buy anything from the Severin sale, I don't think, this year. And it all comes down to this. And it's not because of what Severin has, because he has some really great titles. It's because every single thing that I've gotten in the last month and a half has got hit with customs fees. And we're not just talking about like just stuff that I've ordered, but like I work with a couple companies that send me some review stuff as well.
Of course.
All my review copies are getting hit with customs fees as well. I got last one came from Umbrella. We got hit with a $50 customs fee. So that was, I got another one coming from Umbrella soon, and I'm dreading like finding out that I'm going to get hit with more customs.
How much when they're sending you like 5 titles? How much does that come out for customs?
50 last summer, and 30 for one of the other ones, but 50 for the first one.
Yikes.
So basically, yeah. People say, "Well, you don't pay for those." So yeah, yes, I do.
I mean, it's a lot less than 30 per title, but it's still a hefty sum.
Yeah,
especially when you're not necessarily expecting it.
And that's the thing. And like people say, well, you don't. Well, if you get a review copy, you don't pay. Yes, you do, because you pay in time, because you gotta watch the films, and you gotta watch them more than once. You can't review a movie that you watch once, and that's the killer. Well, you can, I guess. Some people will get movies and they don't do a. They'll just say, "This is a movie I got," and
right.
If it works for you, fantastic. But I have this Canadian guilt, I think, put in me, so that if anybody sends me something, like, 1, I got to be honest. 2, I got to be thorough. And sometimes that's fantastic, because I get like 2 or 3 movies.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Another time I got like around 20 in a box that I didn't expect. And I was a wreck. I was a nervous wreck for like about a week and a half. I literally popped myself in my room. And for an entire weekend, my better half didn't see me. Just I would come down and get some tea. I would go back upstairs, and I was watching movie after movie after movie. And then I spent the next week and going through the special features and rewatching certain ones that I wasn't sure on.
I don't envy that necessarily, but I also can't wait to be able to just hold myself up and watch for a full weekend. Having 2 young kids under my oldest is 6.5. They take literally almost all of my time.
I miss those days. My kids are older now. Like they're both in Like one's in college, one works at a bank, and I'm very, very proud of them. I'm super proud of my kids. But I would kill to have those days back when they were young, man. Just with all
It's an interesting time, that's for sure.
top 3 adult films for Vinegar Syndrome. I really think that if you don't have Sex World, that is actually a really good title.
Yes, that is the obvious pick. And then the other obvious pick, in my opinion, is Hot and Saucy Pizza Girls.
Bob Chin. Excellent title. That is such a fun film. And it's a film that works. Like a way that you can see with a lot of these releases is if the film can work with the adult sequences taken out, then it's a good film, period. And there's one, and the R-rated name of the film, you'll know the X-rated name right away, is called They Call It Murder Baby. But you know the one I'm talking about, right? I can't remember the X-rated name right now. I know I got downstairs. I got it in my 5 films, 5 years. The X-rated cut of it. It's really, really good. Definitely that I'd recommend.
Let me see. I was going to pick it off of here.
Any of my kids in the movies like me, we're not the adult titles. I don't think they wouldn't tell me if they were. But they're into they like a lot of more Korean and Japanese stuff. But yeah, they do like a lot of the kind of the things and the driving massacre stuff like that.
I can't remember which one it is now.
It's the 5th one, I think, on one of the adult sets.
Okay, I was thinking, is it Dixie Ray Hollywood Star?
Yep, that's the one.
That's what I was thinking. I didn't want to say it because I couldn't remember if that was the one.
It's the one. It's got Cameron Mitchell actually in some of the scenes, and Ralph.
Here's that first version, well. Yeah.
Also, if you've ever seen Dracula Sucks, again, that's on there as well, I think. Or is on the second?
It is on the second one, yes.
That's a really good one as well. I saw that when I was a kid. No word of a lie. I did see that when I was a kid. They didn't know it was an adult film, and they had to put it in the regular section.
Oh, that second one also has corporate assets. Okay.
Corporate assets. You know, I was iffy on corporate assets because it was almost too much adult and not enough story.
Yeah, it really is. It's the big name title from that second one, I think.
Yeah.
That Dracula Sucks, and then maybe The Vixens of Kung Fu. But really, Tropic of Desire's on that one, too, and that's a pretty good one. That's another Bob Chin.
That's a really good. That's the one set in World War II, right?
Yes.
That one blew me away. Like, I did not expect, what happens at the beginning of that film. Because you get into the film, spoiler alert, there's, a love scene at the beginning of the film. And then after that, he leaves, and he talks about, they're going to get married when he comes back and all this type of stuff. And we don't realize it. We don't know. But it's Pearl Harbor.
Right.
And the attack happens right after that. And it's a bit, definitely, a different film, but you could have taken all the adult sequences of that film and still had a really good film. And that's one of the things that I think that a lot of their, especially their early releases, Justine was by the way his name, I was trying to remember before, that I really liked. A lot of the really good adult films too.
The one that came out right after that, what is it? 1001 Erotic Nights is actually surprisingly great too.
The second one is a bonus.
Yeah.
But the first one is great.
Yeah.
We got a recommendations of Babyface, which is, again, yes, that's a very cool one. Pretty Peaches 1 especially. Yeah, Pretty Peaches 3 is the weirdest. Pretty Peaches 1 and 2 I think is solid.
And then Taboo's an obviously good choice there.
Actually, the whole 4, I'm going to be greater and say all 4 of the Taboo films are really good films. And the fact that the 4th one literally kind of bookends it. Now, there are 20-something Taboo films, so only the first 4 went to theater. That's so you can stop at 4, trust me, and you should, because the rest of them are. There was a series where I love to see Vinegar Syndrome do, and there was almost like a mini series that was put out on video called American Taboo, and there was, I think, 4 parts that were done. It was this story, and it was a complete, almost a Jackie Collins-esque story with a with adult aspects of it, and it goes through this change of this girl and her corruption of family and betrayal and basically blackmail. It well done, very well done. But I've never seen it outside of the VHS when I was actually probably in my early 20s.
Have not seen those.
Those are worth checking out. Jay says the most likely Hong Kong Category 3 for the surprise title. I think that we're and I don't know for sure, but yeah, I mean, like that's pretty much. I don't think when they said it's going to be different, from a different area, it's going to be kind of really out there stuff. You automatically kind of go to
Right.
Category 3 stuff.
They never even specifically said Asian, but that does make sense.
It does.
that
I
it
mean,
would be.
like it could be like there's a lot of really great Indonesian stuff, but Mondo Macabre's really kind of covered that when it comes to those type releases. If you want to get like real good Indonesia stuff, 100% Mondo Macabre. More Cynthia Rothrock. Hunter, I agree. 100% more Cynthia Rothrock. Do I take notation of the films? When sometimes, so Ryan, when I used to do podcasts, especially when I worked with on Just This or Cobwebs or VHS, I would be watching films. I would take notes like constantly. So yeah, I always used to do that.
Yeah, if you're going to talk on films, you pretty much have to, and usually you got to watch them at least twice.
Yeah, at least, and then you're if there's like a bunch of commentaries, like Taboo, for instance, which is an adult film, has like 4 commentaries on it. And I've been saying I'm going to do on my Patreon channel a whole called cinema, kind of after dark type of thing. Was kind of a joke thing, or called cinema uncut basically. And I was going to talk with the some of the adult films, and I want to talk about the Taboo series, like not as in kind of a more analytical way, but I got to listen to 4 commentaries on one film before you even start on that. So yeah, subscription price. Yeah, that's a good question. What do you think the subscription price is going to be?
I had been telling people my guess was $7.80, and then I started thinking about it with the cost of shipping. I think in the U.S. the subscription is probably going to be either $8.20 or $8.40. Cost of shipping has gone up so dang much this year that they're going to have to raise a little bit on that. However, losing the completest portion, it's going to drop the price for what I was paying last year significantly.
Do you think to do something different? Like, do you think that may be one of the reasons that we've lost the completionist portion? I don't think that has much to play into it. But do you think they'd ever do something with the partner labels when it comes to subscription base?
I don't
If that's
I
a
don't
possibility?
think they can, because you would get too many complaints. With how many they're releasing every month, which some months has been literally 6 titles, which is so much. I mean, it's more than Vinegar Syndrome usually at this point. And so they could make a rough estimate to price it out. But if certain people want, no AGFA titles, AGFA has been putting out titles either every month or at most they'll take 1 month off. And if people don't like AGFA, you can't say, don't give me AGFA. So
Yeah. And there's the killer part too. That's also been the thing that's been a bit of bone of contention. Sometimes the partner labels will put out better titles than Vinegar Syndrome are putting out a month.
oh yeah.
And yeah, and it shines over the Vinegar Syndrome stuff. And people say, well, maybe Vinegar Syndrome is putting out, and I said before, the stuff they're putting out isn't as good as they used to put out. But maybe it's not that as much as the partner labels have stepped up their game enough that they're putting out stuff that looks a bit better.
100%, yeah.
Now, still that being said, for me, like out of all the stuff that's being released from Severin to Vinegar Syndrome, like Flesh for Frankenstein, Trauma, and Creature, those are my favorite 3 out of the stuff being announced. Riguri Diodato's House on the Edge of the Park, if you don't have it, I think it's a great film. It's not for everybody. Obviously, it's definitely a film that has SA in it, so make sure that's something that you know ahead of time. But it's one that I own own at least 2 to 3 copies of, and I will eventually buy the Severin edition of it because I desperately want it. I do think Severin dropped the ball with the book again. I'm hoping it's because there was basically they couldn't do it. Like there was maybe some type of region specific. Because if it's not, and it's along the lines of the Pulse book, where they put it out, and initially you couldn't buy it, but you could pay for $100 for shipping, and then all of a sudden you could buy the whole set with free shipping.
Right.
So it kind of brings you there. You're like, oh, I'm there, and then all of a sudden you're like, wait a second, you told us like initially that this was going to cost an amazing amount for shipping.
Right.
But
And the hard part
that,
is you can buy that book from Fab Press right now, the autographed version.
can
And
you buy
and
that
prob
version?
yep.
That's one thing I gotta look at. I like Rogerio Dude. I don't like Cannibal Holocaust. I just, as a film, it's not for me. It never has been. I own it, but I would never watch the animal cruelty version. I do watch the animal cruelty free version.
Right.
That just I've got animals, and I'm a wimp that way. If you want to call it that, if someone's called me a wimp, I am. I don't like watching animals getting hurt on the screen.
And I get
Even though
that.
I own Friday the 13th, and the snake is killed now, so I'm a big hypocrite. But like there's a difference in like the snake kind of getting killed off screen, even though he really got killed, and the sequences in like Cannibal Holocaust and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I've never been a really big cannibal person anyway. Like,
Yeah, I'm
um,
not huge into it either.
yeah, Massacre at Dinosaur Valley is probably and maybe Man from Deep River about as cannibalistic as I want to go when it comes to these, and those are kind of more the tamer ones. They're more like adventure oriented as opposed to the focusing on the cannibal part of it, like Emmanuel and Less Cannibal. So there you go. That's
Yeah,
my type. It's my
I get
cannibal
that.
film.
Yeah.
I'm a huge Emmanuel fan.
And me too. I like the way that Severin released that film too. It's a good one.
It's a fantastic film, and I do want to see the Black Emmanuel set coming up next year. Body Count,
Yeah.
yes, Morgan. Oh my God, why was that not the one released? I'm guessing there must have been a reason. But Ballad of Blood, is that you? Are you a fan of that? Like, have you seen
Uh,
it?
I've not seen Ballad of Blood, but everybody I trust says that it is awful.
It's not good. I mean, it's not good. Like, you might like it, um, better than me, and I hope you do, because I know you're going to grab it, aren't you? You're gonna.
Uh, I actually haven't decided on all the Severin stuff yet. And the big thing for me with the Severin thing is I think there's one title that's listed as limited, and that's
Which
it.
one?
Everything else is just a regular edition title.
There's always one title list is limited. Like I remember
Well, no,
last year.
last Black Friday there was like 6 that were limited edition.
Were there really that were limited?
Yeah,
Limited?
yeah,
But,
and
like,
that
one
they
of them was
can
listed as limited as, like, never being available afterwards, and
right.
it wasn't actually. That was the, Jess Franco one, and, my
Yeah,
favorite, Bahia Blanca, which is, again, I'll say it right now, it's one of Jess Franco's best films ever made.
yeah.
Um, but, if you don't have that one, guys, and you get a chance to get it, if you see that pop up during the Severin sale, if somehow that pops up, grab it right away, put it in your cart, grab it, buy it, because it won't stay. Um, that's one that I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah, and Bahia Blanca is going for like $60 on eBay now.
Yeah, and it's not gonna get cheaper.
No.
It's a Franco title, Bahia Blanca. So it's a really cool little title they made during, I guess, his harvest years. Um, and I call it like basically the Franco, was the Franco 6 really that they did that were done during the 80s. And it was during a period of time where he didn't actually have a lot of money for making a lot of these films. And he was a bit angry about the way that he was being treated too at the time. So you can see it in these films. They're definitely more like Bahia Blanca and House of Lost Women are definitely more introspective when it comes to Franco's work. And if you ever want to see a film where you're seeing the artist kind of really kind of bleed what he's feeling out onto the screen, Bahia Blanca and House of Lost Women, those are those films for Franco.
I'm really glad they did the attached features on those as well, going through all of the filming locations and everything. It is something that not enough. I mean, Severin obviously really focuses on those special features, especially because they do them for other companies. But to tie them together like that, it's first off, it's brilliant from a marketing side. But
Yeah.
on top of that, it's nice to feel that cohesion.
Like it's fantastic. The features that they put on there, they put on to do those two like soundtracks as well, like to put them over two different films.
Yep.
I'm a million percent like love those. I recommend if you're going into the Severin when you want to buy some extra stuff, you want to get those Franco films, any of them that come available. I definitely recommend them. I definitely recommend the soundtracks too. Love those. And John's right. Anything by Sam Deegan, the commentary by Sam Deegan, it's just incredible. Sam Deegan, Kat Ellinger, Rachel Nesbitt, Troy Howarth, and any interview by Stephen Thrower,
Oh,
incredible.
Yeah. Getting close now, less than 2 hours.
I know. I'm super excited. Then Emmanuel said, "There's going to be more than Emmanuel on there. Apparently, that's going to be. That's what I've heard. That
Interesting.
yeah. That's the reason it's taken so long. That they found extra stuff.
Well, and they were hoping to do that for Milligan, and then it just never worked out.
Like what else? I mean, some people say that they were that they would like to see them do Ray Dennis Steckler box set. How do you feel about a Steckler box set?
I mean, if they can be as exhaustive as they have been lately, I bring on all of the box sets. First of all, I don't think that enough. Like Criterion did it with like the Bergman thing, where they really took time to articulate the style that they were going for through the entire like experience of the box. And I don't know. I wish more of these boutiques. Obviously, you can't really get every title from some of these directors, but if you could do something, even like they did with the Christopher Lee set, it is such a everybody knows Christopher Lee, but they didn't really know the stuff in that box set.
That's the cool part about it. I do think, like speaking of Criterion, I do think that after the Bergman set, they did not do as good a job with the other directors. Like nobody got the Bergman treatment. The Varda set, they started punching a bunch of movies on one disc. They put too many films on a disc.
Right.
We got like the Fellini set. These worked with like kind of a record type look to it, and I don't think it had. Fellini set's still good, but it's not. I still don't think it's the Bergman level. I think that they should have just taken a bit more time and kept those box sets kind of like uniform, kept them at the Bergman level. I mean, if they do an Akira Kurosawa set, which I do and think they're going to do in the future,
I do too.
Then I hope that they put that along those lines of a Bergman set, as opposed to what they did with the Varda set or even the Fellini set.
I think if they go Kurosawa, they have to do at least one or two titles in full blown 4K though, to actually entice people to get it.
Well, I think people would get it anyway, but I think they would. I think
yes.
I think the reason we have not seen an Akira Kurosawa set before is because of that. Is because I think that they were waiting till they dipped into 4K before they did that. And I think Seven Samurai, Rashomon, titles like that, those will be ones we'll see coming into in a 4K.
I agree.
I don't think you're kind of like in the minority. I think a lot of people would buy Steckler, like on day one, they're Flickering Waves, to be honest with you. I would hope that they would do a documentary that's as exhaustive as the Al Adamson set. That's the one thing that was missing in the Milligan set. There was a lot of great stuff in the Milligan set, but there was no documentary the way that they did with the Adamson set, which is the one thing I was missing out on.
Yep.
You can't lose respect for Criterion on the Godzilla set because it wasn't their fault. That really, they would have done a lot more with Godzilla. It's just that Toho are very tight-fisted when it comes to that.
I don't know, ginger brain or Brarian. That Citizen Kane packaging is so bad. I can't stand it. It is just like the Del Toro trilogy packaging. It is cumbersome. It wears down after a while. It's just so not good. Yeah.
I don't have it yet. I do want it though, even though the packaging's bad and the disc got issues. I still want. I love Citizen Kane.
Right here, just came in.
It seems thinner than I thought it was going to be.
It's very thin, but it folds in every direction.
So is it a disc and a disc and a disc and a disc type thing?
Let's dive into it.
Because that's one that I was curious about. Did you put it in for the replacement disc?
Not yet, but I certainly will be. I mean, if they're going to offer me a $10 coupon, I'd be dumb not to.
Oh, hell to the yeah.
Okay, so here it is, and it has a slip.
I hate the K. I know it spells it Kane, doesn't it? But I hate that.
Yeah, this doesn't work.
No, yeah, I agree. I don't mind the slide out part of it. Like, but no. I'm going to guess Menace to Society is a much better put together disc.
It is. It's got one of their slide out slip cases.
I like that. I'm a big fan of that film. I don't have it, so I'll eventually get that one in 4K. And the neat part for me, where I'm moving to another place where movies are a different region, the more 4Ks that I get in my collection, the better, because those are films that I can actually watch right at the gate when I go to Morocco, because I don't have to wait till, say, if I have a problem with any type of like region locking or anything like that. 4K doesn't lock unless you're Scream Factory.
It wasn't Scream Factory. It was Shout Factory.
Exactly, Shout Factory.
And it was one title.
They're not. I thought the whole thing about 4K was they weren't allowed to lock anymore. Like, how did that happen?
There are 4 titles across the entire world that have ever been locked on 4K.
What are the 4 titles? I know Deer Hunter. What are the other 3?
No, it was not the Deer Hunter's fine. It was an anime title that was locked.
Oh, really? I thought it was Deer Hunter, so I could get Deer Hunter.
Yep. And the other 3, they're all European releases.
The only like Halloween ones I picked up are 1 and 2 so far because they came to my Walmart. And when I said for Dark Force Entertainment Black Friday sale, I'm not a really big Dark Force guy. I'll be honest with you. Like they put out some decent stuff, but I'd be lying if I said I didn't get disappointed when I hear a movie that I like is being put up by Dark Force.
Right.
Because much like a lot of the Code Red stuff, and I do have some Code Red stuff, but there's some questionable business practices and just the way they kind of like treat their customers. I kind of get a feeling that the dude is trying to be like a wrestling heel.
Yeah, exactly. That's the same way I've always talked about it like that.
But it doesn't really play well. I mean, nope. for this. I understand where he wants to go with it, but I don't think it's working. He's not Jericho, man. You can't do it like that. It's like, if I turned heel right now during this video, wouldn't work so well.
That's true. Especially as positive as you.
Oh man, yeah. When I used to say, I used to get like hate, like, yeah, and so Master Chaos was here right now. By the way, happy Thanksgiving, Master Chaos. We'd get like the 2 sides of a coin, right? I was too positive. Master Chaos was too negative. And whenever I got like semi-negative about something, like, oh, can't you believe you're hating on that? I'm like, no, I'm just, I'm being honest. Like it's if I like something and I'm excited about it, I'm like, okay, that's fantastic. But if I get something that I don't like, people ask, well, why do you review movies? And like, you normally like the movies. Well, peek behind the curtain. We don't just get sent movies. We actually request movies that we want to review. So I don't normally say, oh, look, there's, here's a list of movies that I can review. Let's pick the most painful one for me to watch. Like, what's the, what's the, what's the big thing of that? Because I don't want that. It's
I need to get in that club. I've never had a single thing sent to me for free.
I got in that club. I lucked into like people who actually were very nice to me, and because I am very horrible when it comes to like people. I've been on this channel here for 10 years. Right. Who knows I exist? Not a lot of people, but so there you go. I'm hoping that one of them is not Ebola syndrome, and don't tell me, Master Cass. I don't want to know, but I don't want to go into what the leak stuff is yet. So don't let us know on here. I'm waiting till it comes up before I find out. I do want to know ahead of time. That's why I've stayed off the forums. That, and if I'm guessing which forum it is,
the toxic forum.
Yeah, they don't like me, man. Like, well, at least
they don't like anybody.
Doesn't like me, just like me, just like Michael. Like, apparently there was one of the viewers here that watches all the time. Very nice person, actually. Said, "Hey, Vinegar Cinema, why don't you send some stuff to Call to Cinema? Send some stuff to Michael. They do a lot of stuff, like talking about your channel." And then there was this guy came on, and like, it was just an innocent comment that he made, but no, this guy could not. He was toxic as what a horrible person. And he was like, oh, look, I don't like the channel. And apparently I talk too much. And I don't go to the gym enough. I'm not pumping iron enough.
I hope
Hell,
they don't ever watch my channel then, because I am a fat person.
sad. You know what the sad part is? I do go to the gym, and I still, not working.
You know, I've actually had people actively complain to me that because a lot of people that don't know that don't follow, just kind of like on the discs, I post all the announcements, but I don't post any leaks, and I've had people really complain about that. They're wanting me to post leaks and post speculation, and it doesn't work like that. And I've got a couple contacts and friends and labels and stuff like that, and none of them like when that happens, obviously.
No, I mean, like, that's the thing. There's certain things that I knew was coming months before they were coming,
Right.
but that did not make it onto my channel. That did not make it anywhere outside of like outside of me. So it was neat when I got to see them like announced. I was like, oh yeah, that's cool. It was announced. But only take your physical media advice from Rip Muscle Man. Damn it, Max. I wish.
You better tune out then, Maximus.
Man, are you on the wrong channel?
I love how he says that with the name Maximus Mansteel.
Kind of a cool name, though. I gotta like.
Yeah. Tony, I'm obviously talking about the Blu-ray.com forums. And then Alan Story says, "Have I watched the Corona Zombies movies yet?" I'm actively staying away from those.
Yeah, it's tasteless.
It is.
The pin goods. You got to go to my OnlyFans, right? It's the only OnlyFans where you pay to keep clothes on. That's where you go, right? But no, like I think the Corona Zombies thing is kind of tasteless. So I didn't really want to go with that. But it's Charles Band, and man, back in the day when I was in college, you would line up to get a full moon film. Like you had to, because they would be rented before. And nowadays, oh no. The Bauer Return Sam's Lot's really good, actually. I love that film. It's a Larry Cohen film, and it just doesn't get enough notice, unfortunately.
Speaking of Larry Cohen, what do you think about the Stuff news? Did you read about that?
I didn't. What's going on with Stuff?
They found some archived reels from the Stuff in like one of the actual film archives, the big ones, and they discovered a director's cut with 30 more minutes of footage.
I had heard of that. I didn't know that really existed, though. I didn't know it was real.
It just got discovered literally this week.
So who's got it? Do we know who has it?
It's archivists that have the actual reels. The rights, I think Arrow's expired in the US. I'm not sure if it's still in print, but yeah, that'd be interesting to see if we ever got that. I wouldn't be surprised if the Stuff came to 4K eventually. I mean, that's got a pretty big cult following.
That's a really fun film. I know that that Larry Cohen used to sell like those plastic stuff containers at conventions. I would love to.
Got one right up there. Yeah.
Oh man, do you really? Did
right
you meet
there.
Larry Cohen?
You can see it. No, I didn't, unfortunately.
He was one of those guys, like he was working all the time and like doing quality stuff. He wasn't just like a director. He wrote so much.
Oh yeah, he wrote all kinds of stuff.
Really cool stuff as well. Stuff where it keeps coming in there. It's not on purpose, guys, but yeah, I would love to see that. I love that movie.
And it's
love Michael Moriarty.
It's kind of long already, but I honestly, if they dove into like the mythos behind it and got some, I mean, I wouldn't say no to that.
Speaking of which, speaking to something completely different, actually. Next year, out of all the titles they've announced so far, that Vinegar Systems have announced, is there anything that stands out like, okay, I want
Horror High,
the subscription for this film, this film, anything?
Horror High, for sure.
Really?
Yeah.
The only one that really kind of is probably Shriek the Mutilated. Because I watched that with my kid, and I watched that with my oldest kid, and with my better half, and my God, we loved it. Man, we loved that film. It was on like a box set. We couldn't believe it. There was a sequence where the guy pretty much kind of kills he's abusive, and he sort of kills his wife. Well, he thinks he kills her, and she's like on the ground, and she pulls the toaster. off of the. Do you remember the film?
I think so. Yeah, it's been a long time.
The toaster along the floor, like because she's dragging herself along the floor. So she puts the toaster in the bathtub and electrocutes him. Love that.
Which there's so many of those films that did that same trope, well, similar at least in the 80s and 90s, and I always laughed because half the time they just physically could never even work the way that the movie was making them work. Like just placing that in there doesn't make it get electrocuted.
Yeah, you got to have that plugged in, man.
Exactly.
And even then, it's a shot in the dark. And pretty much one of the ending lines from the film, which I cannot say because it gives away the ending of the film, but it's pretty much the last thing that the lead character says when he comes in the door. Randomly, me, Hind, Mimi will just randomly look at each other sometimes and we'll like just quote that line. It's just because that's how it's stuck in our head, right? But I don't know. You're getting the subscription this time, aren't you?
I believe so. Yeah, that's the current plan, unless it comes back and it's shockingly expensive somehow.
I unfortunately can't. I can't do it. Though there's a donation link down below. So if anybody wants to use that, much appreciated. I think it's got cobwebs by now. It rarely gets used. Got to pimp it myself, man. It's a sale.
At least you get anything. I don't even have 1,000 subs to be able to monetize. I don't have. I can't even post on YouTube. I can post videos.
Is a nightmare. I'm going to tell you this right now. I was monetized, and I'm more demonetized more often than not at this point. And they take 40%. Right, by the way. So if you want to make $100, you have to have one hell of a lot of views on a lot of films. And for a while, I was like, oh, I'm making like $100. Like it was something, right? Like it's not a lot, but it was something.
Right.
But then, like the last probably 3 months or so, maybe even longer, like myself, as soon as it gets there, the dreaded Giallo, remember? You trust me, you'll learn it. The dreaded Giallo, this is monetization or no monetization or this type, and then you're putting in for like, oh, can you review this? And then they take their time to review, and by the time it's been reviewed, most of the videos are already gone through, so you're not getting money on those. And yeah, it's great. I mean, when you get there, because eventually I can see your channel kind of blowing up, especially with the way that you're doing stuff. So monetization is going to work well for you. Well, for me,
I'm not even really going down that road personally. I'd much rather go down the road of more like a Patreon. And I've got like
do Patreon and do merchandise. Like do Patreon and merchandise. That's what I recommend. If you want to get anywhere, one here and just make a little bit of money. And honestly, people like ragged on me when I did a Patreon. They just said like, are you selling out? No, we work our butts off and we enjoy it. But it's okay to make money.
I love your shirt, by the way.
Oh, thank you. I love the fact that you had that there, that you had that on there. I'm trying to do like some more merchandise for the upcoming season, but it's just been so busy at work that I have not had the chance to do anything new. That's the other part.
I'm in the process of being promoted. I actually start my new position this coming Monday.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And it's been a really awful like 6 weeks of just training everybody to do. Look at that, John just watched the movie. Yeah, so I've been training everybody to take my spot basically when I leave, and it's been nonstop working 60, 70 hours a week. It's been crazy.
It's I definitely get it. That's where I'm at right now. And except that people called me to yell at me. I'm not sure how your supervisor position works, but mine is people call me when they're angry. And that's all the time. So basically, if people like call it like they take calls and they do like their orders and all this type of stuff. No. When you're angry, when you've gotten to the point where you're fed up, then you talk to me. And just in all honesty, if anybody's out there and you ever call in somewhere, like understand the person on the other side of that phone is a human being, and they got families and they're working their butt off, and most of the time for wages that aren't exactly the greatest. So, take that into consideration when you decide to Karen up. Because because I am getting a Karen shirt. I'm definitely getting a Karen shirt. Because I said, like, if when I leave my position, I hope to God that they hire a Karen for my for my thing, because
To
I want
Karen back at the
that
Karens.
Karen. I want a Karen battle. Like, that's what I'm.
Care Inception.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. I worked in complaint. Not so much in complaint. I used to work in the complaint department. I used to work at the Zeller's complaint department, actually, complaints and returns. But no, I work as I'm a supervisor, and I work in supervisor and corporate sales. And but that deals with, if you're asking for a supervisor, yeah, 9 times out of 10 it's a complaint. Rarely, I had one person call me back, and this blew my mind, because first time it happened in my entire position here, and call me back to say, you did a great job. I got my item came. I didn't think it was going to come. I got it for Christmas. And people call back. Sometimes they'll speak with an agent or speak with like a sales rep, but they rarely call back to talk to a supervisor and say good job. So the fact that somebody did that, I hope they're having a fantastic Christmas, because definitely made my day that day, because I was having a really hard day.
I am very lucky in the fact that my position is not public facing at all. All I
Oh
work with
God,
is
you are
internal
lucky.
employees.
Because yeah, it does at times does make me want to cry. I'll get there, and like my better half will, like, if she's working from home, which isn't very often now, she'll come downstairs and she'll look at me and she'll like, one of those days, right? And I'm like, yeah, I can't talk. One of those days. Newcomers in 4K. Actually, I like that Videodrome. I really like Newcomers. I actually like that film a lot most. I did miss out on seeing Return to Newcomb High when they did the sequel, the one that came out a few years back, because I was in Montreal at the time when Trauma came there, and they were showing it. But I got really sick at the night that they showed it. I did get to see the original, the first cut of Tom Savini's documentary, which, by the way, is better than the cut that's on Shudder. Just because if you ever get to see the original cut of Tom Savini's documentary, it's really, really good. And for people that have never met Savini and have like heard the kind of like stories online, kind. It's not true. Like, he is one of the nicest, pretty much, and fairly humble guys too, because especially considering like the dude was a rock star of horror in that era.
What's crazy to me is how little he charges to meet fans compared to some of the other people. Literally, for like a selfie and autograph, he'll charge like $10 depending on the con.
He's very low compared to a lot of the other people.
Absolutely.
Somebody else that's like that, Edward James Olmos.
Yep.
Another guy, completely down to earth. Like, he had we went over to his table, and it was like during a lull, and he expected yet another question about Battlestar Galactica. The what's it called, Stand and Deliver, that he did replace this teacher. And so I talked to him about that, because I really loved his acting in that film and the way that he did it. And he had such a kind of a downplayed look, and it was just so well done. So when I went to get a picture, that's the picture I got. And he was taken aback, because he thought, oh no, another star, another Battlestar Galactica, which made a lot of money still.
Of course.
The trilogy has been leaked. Don't tell me, Ken. We don't want to know until it comes out. Horror High's coming next year from Vinegar Syndrome. Yeah, that should be an interesting release.
That and Return to Horror High came out from 88 Films.
I actually like that film a lot. The Joker at the time was like, there was no Horror High, or there wasn't not a Horror High related to Return to Horror High. That was the whole joke about the film. But we get 5 minutes of George Clooney. George Clooney, yeah. But
of course.
Well. I think he's on there for an Oscar. I'd have to look. I'm not the person that knows the Oscar stuff. So I've never been really big. I used to watch when I was younger, but I've never been really big into the Oscar stats or anything like that.
Yeah, I've been anti-Oscars for most of it.
It's boring. I
mean, especially nowadays.
Oh my God! When I was a kid, yeah, it was fun as hell. You have Billy Crystal and those guys be doing it. It'd be a lot of fun. Nowadays, it's like it's a slog to even get through.
Yeah.
I'd rather watch the Razzies, and I have issues with those because a lot of times there's films that the Razzies I'm like, that shouldn't be a Razzie.
Well, and there's certain things like, gosh, the year Macaulay Culkin did like 3 or 4 films in one year when he was like 11 or whatever, and he got nominated for 3 Razzies in one year. First off, it's a kid. Why would you do that to him?
I'm sorry. If The Good Son is one of those films, fuck the Razzies.
I think that was a year or 2 prior to that.
Because I dug The Good Son. It's
a good film.
Remember that kid? No, here's a kid that wasn't a great actor. They said it was a kid. The Problem Child films. And when those initially came, oh man, did I hate those films when they initially came out. And I ended up getting a review copy of those down the road from Mill Creek. And man, did I have fun with those films. I didn't expect to. But maybe it's because I went in like expecting to hate them. I mean, I kind of dig that. Hey, Flip Man, welcome, man. Hey there, Basement. But I really dug the hell out of those films. And I'm like, I'm going to hate these films. And the second one especially. I think I might have actually saw the first one and passed on the second one because I really didn't like the first one initially. But one of those films.
3 Problem Child films are available at Orbit DVD right now, I think. I was just looking at them the other day and I had to stop myself from getting them.
But the Problem Child?
Yeah.
They're fun. They're fun.
Yeah. I just didn't need to spend the money then.
That's the thing. I was like, oh. And it's one of those where I'll be honest. I didn't. It was one of those where I'm like, okay, I'll get this one. I'm going for review, but I'm iffy on. I was nervous about reviewing. I mean, this is one of the ones where I'm going to be talking like crap on the film. But maybe it's the films I watched at the time. But yeah, I actually end up enjoying films I did not expect to like.
Problem Child falls into a genre that it's not easily summed up with words, but it's one that I say I really want to show my kids, but I'm worried about the outcome. I think it would only give them ideas.
Especially the second one. Especially the second one actually kind of is a bit like meaner. Well, the weird thing is they use like the same actress in the second film, but she's playing a completely different character.
Same with the Addams Family and Addams Family Values.
Yeah. And it's kind of cool. I mean, I'm like, I dig that. I dig the way they did that. Hey there, Matt. Welcome, man. John Ritter was gone way too soon. He is so missed. So many people, like when you think about like actors and like singers, we were, me and my cousin were going into to Sydney today too, because I wanted to get Starbucks and I needed some Starbucks, and I had to get my peppermint mocha. So we were on the way. Laura Branigan plays, and she died. She's 52 years old. She died of a brain aneurysm in her sleep, basically. Jonathan, welcome, man. Amy Asbeck, that's the one who plays the in both films. She was like, she was married to John Ritter at the time, was she? But yeah,
I think so.
I totally hope it's not a bolus syndrome, man. Like, if it is, so be it. I got Cardona, so I got the world's most expensive fridge magnet. And here's the thing: when I joked about the Cardona films because a lot, and I really kind of downplayed them, but I was really hoping that when I finally got them, I was going to watch them. And I'm like, I'm totally wrong, because the same thing with Alien from LA. I was really going in with that with really low expectations. But that was really good, and the Cardona films were worse than I thought they were going to be. Yeah, Laura Branigan, Gloria. My favorite song that she did is Spanish Eddie, actually, and I think that's still off the Self Control album. But she passed away at the age of 52.
Oh, Dave, come on, we're not letting stuff leak on here, please.
Did somebody leak something?
Yep.
Oh, Dave, don't leak it, man. We're kind of keeping spoilers out of here.
It's the whole point of making it an
don't put
event.
it in the chat, please.
Yep.
I gotta kind of hide that. I don't want to block the user. I just want to take that out of there, but I can't. That's a disappointment. I'll be honest. I didn't okay. It's leaked. Okay, it's a disappointment. But it is what it is. For me. That's another Cardona.
I am shocked that is.
That's
one
okay,
of the
Dave. Man,
ones, to be honest.
you didn't know, man. It happens. Like, but no, if you know the other titles, like, don't say anything else on here. But I will say, fuck that film. It's depressing. I really am not interested in it.
Like I said, though, if
It's the wrong
that
time.
is the one, and it sounds like it is, I sincerely hope that it does lead us into more down that path. And I would personally love to see Vinegar Syndrome drive into Cat 3 like crazy.
Yeah, but that being said, not that, and not now. In much in the same way that I think Zombies was a horrible idea to do. I think this is a horrible choice for Vinegar Syndrome, and it just, it's out there, so we'll talk about that one. But please don't like mention any of the other ones. And you know what happens, Dave? You didn't know, man. But here's the thing. No, not right now. It's not fun. It's not something I want to watch. It's not the type of thing that I want to put on. It's another misstep in a second half where there's been a few missteps. And I'm gonna be honest. Like I try to be pretty. Like I'm fairly like positive most of the time, but it's a misstep. They've made some missteps this year, and this is one of them. I know some people are gonna love it. They're gonna be excited, but yeah, I really think this is a Cardona size error, and I know some people are gonna like it, but I would rather much see more of the other stuff come out, the fun stuff, the stuff that you can expect. Devil's Story, cheesy, like nothing to it. But it's the wrong time to flip. Like, this is the thing. Like, I get that I know you like that style film, but for that one, I've seen the new Bond film, but that's different. The new Bond film is different in the way that it's done. It was leading up to a certain but this is different. I would have loved Naked Killer. I have a DVD Naked Killer, actually. That would have been cool. I would have loved that. It's actually a much more fun film.
And to be honest, this might open the door to that coming more.
I hope so. I hope that it doesn't mean that they're just going to go for, don't go for extreme for the sake of extreme.
No, I don't think they're going to do that. And to be honest, I think there's enough other U.S. Labels that are already going down that route. And I think the biggest thing is if Hong Kong cinema overall is going to be focused on a lot more for the next couple of years, because it's big right now. A lot of the boutiques doing it are getting a lot of success.
Yeah, and honestly, this is not what I want to see in Hong Kong cinema, though. I want to see more Hong Kong cinema, but I want to see more of the action stuff, and I do want to see some Cat 3. I want to see some Pinky, some Nakatsu style films, but that's kind of more. But that's me. That's more my leaning. Now, that being said, there's going to be people who are going to be over the moon with this, and if you are, fantastic. They're not going to take anything away from that, and your like of that. I'm not saying, I'm just like, this is like, the idea here is for us to give our true opinions when it comes to these.
And that's me. I'm stoked that it's coming. I'm glad. Again, I do kind of wish it was 88 Films US doing it, but I do love the amount of love that Vinegar Syndrome will give it. Not to mention,
not a Vinegar Syndrome film. It's not.
Well, you could say that about 30 other titles that are in the Vinegar Syndrome catalog, though, too.
But and the worst part is, if this is where they're going.
Well, one title doesn't mean this is where they're going.
I know, but they're doing the Cardona, and then they agreed to 2 more Cardona sets, and
well, they didn't just agree to them. They got a licensing agreement, and that entailed a whole bunch of films. And the way they decided to release it was 3 box sets rather than $100 all-encompassing box set.
I would actually have preferred that they did the $100 encompassing box set and got it out of the way. But I don't think that they expected because there was, no matter what no matter how you want to spin it, there was pushback. with the
Well,
Cardona.
of course there was, but I mean, they are now a company that has what I think we're up to like 420 releases or something like that.
Yeah.
Not everybody's going to be happy with all of them, and even if there's 2 or 3 in a year that you're not happy with, there's still 30 plus others that are going to be great. So,
But I think this is like, in all honesty, like I haven't seen anything get the pushback that Cardona got. Like out of the titles that we've seen them put out, there's been ones that are like that people were middling on, but people like outright did not like it.
and yes, I get that there are certain other titles that people have hated too, but one of the other ones, like Resurrection, everybody hated what year that released and said that wasn't a Vinegar Syndrome title, and now everybody loves that title.
See,
But the
for me,
moment,
I just thought it was fun. That's what I was
right,
excited because one, I like the director. I like I'm a huge fan of Lambert. I'd seen it before.
I got all
But
kinds of
that was
complaints
exciting
about
for
that
me
one.
because that was opening a door for like certain like newer like DVD like straight to
Right.
DVD titles and stuff like that. That was something where I'm like, okay, that's fantastic. As opposed to this 4K, that this is opening a door that some people are going to love. Flip is a huge fan of these type films, and
Me too.
Flip's a good friend. So those are going to be like great for Flip and for people that like that stuff. And for you, but for me, it's one of those where I'm like, no, I'm not there. I'm sure Michael will love it. Michael, welcome, man. Something got leaked. I didn't. We accidentally found out. But we were not going with the other leak stuff. Not like talking about the other leak stuff. We don't know.
The way that you're talking about the direct to DVD titles getting more possible because of that film coming out through Vinegar Syndrome, you could look at this one the same way though. There's a lot of stuff that could come because this is coming as well, and even just making the relationship with that that field alone will open up doors that they couldn't have possibly opened before.
Exactly. But I think that with me, in all honesty, and it's just me. I can't speak for anybody but myself. Like the excitement of them opening up more straight to DVD type doors, and more stuff like the like Saint Rothrock stuff, or say Night Eyes or something like that ever came out. Like
Right.
I wish that excites me. But this one here, which I won't say the name, just in case somebody came in later, it doesn't. Like I'm not excited about much of the other stuff. Like I want like a lot of Hong Kong cinema, but I'm looking, especially on like Flip mentions like, and it's been mentioned I think when I was talking was on Master Caster channel, like Rick spoke, no Fat Samurai channel, because Rick spoke about the fact that the China's like cracking down on laws and they can actually take films from the past, and I think that's one of the reasons we're getting a lot of this stuff, and fantastic. And I do think like it doesn't matter if I like this or not. If I'm going to be, well, that's not a type that I like so much. I don't care. Like I'm glad that it's coming out. I'm disappointed for me, as in this is a film that I'm going to watch. I'm excited for everybody else that wants to get this one because, like I said, when the 3 were announced, when Creature and Trauma and Flesh for Frankenstein were announced, everything else is gravy for me. So this is not a Cardona level disappointment. Like in my opinion, this is it moves away from what the style that I might like as much. Like it's good; it'll save me some money if they do kind of some of that stuff. But like a Naked Killer, love, like that something like that. It's different. I mean, Mike, it's hard. Like we try not to like. I'm personally trying not to put the leak stuff on here, and I haven't looked at the leak stuff. One of them got announced by somebody here by accident. But I don't know. I'm excited about the releases coming out. I'm excited about being at that point where we're getting to there. It's like, and it's getting closer to the point where we're looking and we're saying, you know what? Let's look at like at what's coming out. Let's get excited about this different stuff. And this is a great mix. So if this is coming out, Story Ricky, that would be awesome. That I would like Story Ricky. Yeah, that's 80 films put that out, didn't they?
Yes, and it is glorious.
Yeah, it is. It is insane, but I love it. Forrest Gump. I am one of the only people like in the world that is not into that movie. Like,
I liked it when it first got released, but looking back on it now, it doesn't hit the same.
I don't think it stands the test of time as much as some people think it does. I mean,
I agree.
It's good to make fun of. Laughs like a mom always said, laugh is like oh my god. But yeah, good joke though. I was we need more gay porn for Vinegar Syndrome. Yeah, why not? I know that the way Field Pull stuff was put out and amazing stuff with that.
Ice says he's getting Siege because of me. Did you watch Siege yet this year, Aaron? The new Severin release of it?
Which one?
Siege from Severin.
I don't have it yet. I still need to get it. And it was like shot in like Halifax.
Yeah.
Great film, by the way. Great film.
It is so well done.
But I would love to see I want to see more stuff like that. I do think that Severin is like really putting out stuff that just speaks to me, like personally, like more so now. But William Malone's Creature, two different cuts of that. So down with that.
Yep.
I think people are underrating Creature. Like people talked about Flesh for Frankenstein. People like me talk about Trauma. People don't talk about Creature as much, and that's a shame because Creature's a really fun little film.
I don't think enough people have seen it yet.
They will, and that'll be good. Hopefully they will. Anyway, so I'm hoping that a lot of people picked up Creature. Are you getting any of the VSPs?
Oh yeah, for sure. I still don't have New York Ninja in yet because I had it to send with my next subscription package, so that'll come after the sale. And Censor, I can't wait. Sadly, as soon as they announced Censor coming to VS, the second site release of that got announced, and that one looks really intriguing, really nice.
I would, yeah. I have not seen Censor, so it'll be a blind buy for me. Not sure if I can get it this time around, but it's one that I really want. Oh yeah, it's a joke. Forrest Gump's not coming to Vinegar Syndrome.
I think Creature is going to be one that people look back on and kind of look at as an unsung title.
Yeah, this is going to be another Alien from LA, where people are kind of like bitching on it, and then once they see it, they're like, "Oh, that's a really good film." They had some of the trailers from the release that we know about on the YouTube site. Yeah, they've actually updated their YouTube channel for the first time in a while recently, actually. Did you see New York Ninja? Were you out in there?
Not yet.
Because I know that like Master Chaos went to like a screening or something. I'm not there. We'd get Forrest Hump on Vinegar Syndrome first. I don't even know if that's a real film, but I'm thinking, it probably is. I was bitching on Alien from LA Cinematheque. I was totally wrong. I will be the first to admit when I am wrong on something. I'm wrong all the time. And that was one of them I was wrong on. You saw Miss Chaos there? Well, I like to say I'm much shorter in person, but I'm short anyway. I'm like 5. About 5'9". 5'8.5", actually. 5'9" is a lie. 5'9" is what I would want to be. I'm not even 5'9".
I stream live with Flip every Tuesday on my channel, and we always make fun of his height because I always say he's 5'2", but he's actually like 5'3".
So at least there's one person I'm taller than. There we go. And that's crazy part. I was in elementary school, when grade 6, grade 7, I was like the tallest person in my class, and I was like, it was so like, oh, you're gonna be so tall, you're gonna be like a basketball player, and I kind of suck at basketball, but nope, I stayed this height. This is the height I've been since like grade 7.
I don't know what happened, but between 8th and 9th grade, I grew 6 inches in one summer.
Are you serious? Oh, I wish. I did my poor diet habits when I was younger. But yeah, no. I remember there's this girl, I really liked her. I was in high school, and she's like, "No, I'm sorry, you're too short for me to date." I'm like, oh, that sucks. But yeah.
Maximus says I'm 7'8".
Dude, and then I feel sad for you, man.
I'm actually only 6'5".
Too tall.
Even 6'5" feels too tall.
Well, I had a friend that was around like close to 6'9", but he had like the taller you get, the heart issues tend to be like an issue. So we'd have to go to the doctor like regularly because of that. But that always blew me away. He was the guy that actually I worked with him, and I was running like because I was working at a day care center for kids, and so I was running with the kids and stuff like that. And he was like, "Run, Forrest, run!" Like, you son of a bitch. But he was a nice guy. Joint issues. Yeah, there's another thing too. Dude, I'm short and I got joint issues.
You know, it's funny you brought up the heart problems when you're tall. My dad is taller than me. I'm 6'5". My dad is 6'8". He died twice because of heart issues, and somehow he's still alive.
That's pretty awesome to do. Fun said meant joint issues. So I fell down a few years back and had a bit of a small seizure, blackout, and my hand went through like a glass thing, and my hand has never been the same since. Now, anytime it rains or wind blows or all the time, it hurts. What time's the Patreon stream? I think we're going to do that one at what's this at 12:30? We're going to go for that. We'll switch over.
Yeah,
I think that's what it is. That is right. I'm so well organized, guys. Yeah, around 12:30, Matt, because that way we'll go into it and we'll dive into some stuff we probably can't talk about. Some of the more adult stuff, not safe for YouTube. That's that's
Penny Dreadful. Yeah. Penny Dreadful here says he's still debating about paying full price for New York Ninja, nothing underneath. I will warn, we don't know that New York Ninja will ever be on sale. The VSUs have not really gone on sale.
They've had like lowered prices, but not lowered half off prices.
Right.
Nothing underneath is I know Master Chaos is totally different on this one. I'm wondering Michael is, but I like Nothing Underneath better than Too Beautiful to Die. I really did. I thought it was just better. It was a better made film. And I do like the kind of the fashion industry aspect of it. So that's a me thing. So Nothing Underneath was like pretty like straightforward when it came to the fashion industry and was solid. And Too Beautiful to Die seemed fake.
Yeah, I get that.
But
I can't wait to watch New York Ninja.
I'm not sure if I'd wait. I'd probably wait on those. They're not Giallos. Like I know people like will say they are, but they're Giallo adjacent at the most. I would never consider Nothing Underneath and Too Beautiful to Die like straightforward Giallos. Any more than I would consider like, as much as I love the film, To Live and Die in LA, it's not a noir, it's a neo-noir. And
well, even like Suspiria is not even really a Giallo.
Oh God, no!
Like and everybody still calls it a Giallo.
No, just because the movie's Italian, it's still
right.
This is Giallo.
That and it's an Argento, so it must be.
And they'll get into it. And they'll be like, there's a bit of mystery. It's a witch. It is a fairy tale. It is a fairy tale, and the closer you want to get closer to Giallo than Phenomenon, which is a mixture. That's more of a hybrid Giallo, like supernatural tale. But no, I'd say wait. It's a double feature. It's a good one. Wait on it.
Forrest Gump, yeah, Giallo.
When he kills his mom, now. But
does that mean AIDS was the Black Glove Killer?
Oh, was it? But that's not what killed her, though. Like, yes, it wasn't. Like we think it is.
Right. They don't actually tell you.
Yeah, but he said it was something else. Actually, like he actually went on. He did an interview. Oh. They're great. I mean, like it's just that I would say wait on the Nothing Underneath Too Beautiful to Die. I think that Nothing Underneath Too Beautiful to Die, not being Giallo, doesn't putt against it. It's actually more along of a Night Eyes body chemistry, kind of like that era and that style of film. Right. So I'm hoping that we'll get to see more of that style. Like I would love to see the body chemistry series done because that did some really, really cool stuff, and we got some different like actors, and I like the way it was shot. Actually, I really like the way it was shot. But yeah, really odd for body chemistry, but I actually like those films. Do you remember those?
I don't. I don't think I've ever seen them.
They're worth it. I mean, like if you like kind of the Shannon Tweed, she's not Shannon Tweed, but like if you like that style with the kind of like the erotic thriller aspect of it, with like you ever seen the No Nights films?
Yes, but before we get real deep into that, I will say you and I are on the same page on that. We really need to go down the path of bringing erotic thrillers into some of these boutiques. I don't
Yeah, they're
understand why we're not.
under like represented.
Absolutely.
We got the Leif Garrett one. Then pretty much nothing for a while. That's the sad part about it, and it's a shame because that one took a while to sell, and I was hoping to see more of that style. I was hoping that's where they were going. Now it looks
Sure
like
would be nice.
with the leak, it doesn't look like that's where they're going. It looks like they're going a completely different direction.
I'd love to see some erotic thriller box sets.
Oh God, I would if the VSAs were something like Night Eyes.
Yeah.
Animal Instincts. Thank you. Oh, I love those. There's only 2 of those, I think, but I really like those films. Actually, I could make a whole video on that style of film because I grew up in the era I was old enough. I wasn't a kid. I was basically I was a dad at the time when those movies started coming out, so I was of the age to watch them. But I remember going through that, and Andrew Stevens is making me want to be a security guy. Security guy sounds like actually a really exciting job after all. Hey, Video Man, welcome, dude. Friend of the family. That was a good one. So it was kind of wasn't so much like a darkness to that one. That was definitely more of a lighter film. I think Shannon Worry is in the first one, right? Or is it Shannon Worry or Tay McClure? It's one of the two. It's either the second Shannon or Tane. Shannon Worry and Tay McClure tended to do a lot of the other stuff that Shannon Tweed didn't do. God, I know way too many of these names. Lisa Boyle, for instance, another one right there. But but yeah, I would love to see more of that stuff.
Right.
Jack and Jill. When you say Jack and Jill, I think about the Adam Sandler thing. So I'm like, that warped me. I hated that film. But then again, I hate a lot of Adam Sandler films. So I like Uncut Gems. There you go.
Uncut Gems is great.
I would I don't know. I mean, I'm excited to see what comes out of this. I don't think I would love to see another company come out that actually would represent it. Because I don't think we're going to get it from Vinegar Syndrome. I really don't.
Right.
I think we could eventually see Severin do this more so. I could see Severin come along with something like that.
Yeah.
All depends on who owns the rights. That's the thing, right? Who owns the rights to these films?
That and previous relationships with the labels.
Julie Strom, she plays a vampire. Oh God, I used to have the movie actually. You think Vinegar Syndrome has a better chance? I don't think they're going that direction, Michael. I would love to see it because I think Vinegar Syndrome would do an amazing job of it, and we get to see some great stuff. But almost be like another line they'd have to put out, I think, in order to really kind of dive into those. And I would be all into that actually, if they did kind of a cool different erotic thriller line, kind of like a VSA type thing, but in its own with its own style. Ready to go to it's an hour away now, right? From the from the thing. I just got to check my things out. I've got one thing put on my cart because it's because I get a notification on my app all the time. Did you forget the movie? No, I didn't. Just was really low. By the way, are you checking Severin every once in a while just to see if it comes up early?
Yeah, I just checked about 10 minutes ago.
Yeah. VSE, actually, that's a good one, Ice. As long as we get it, Michael. That's the thing. Michael, you got to start your own label, man. Start your own label and put those things out, and then you hire me for commentaries.
Flip and I have talked about that.
Have you really?
About starting a label? Yeah, we'd love to.
Yeah. the feature guy right here.
It just
You better
costs
have me
so
a feature.
much.
I'm just telling you right now.
Keen.
Well, see, I had to get like the guy that brings the knowledge, man. And Disconnected brings the knowledge more than me, more than all of us. He's a knowledge guy.
You've got the history though. That's the big thing.
That's because I'm old, dude. You
And
see this gray in my beard that I like to call silver and pretend it's not gray.
I'm getting there too.
I got a new computer because my old one died, and this damn thing has this like. I got to go into settings eventually. I can't talk about it. I mean, I can't talk about what Vinegar syndrome. It's a misstep only for me. Most people are gonna be excited about neuroleptic. It's not a misstep.
Well, it could be talking about Cardona as well.
Oh, Cardona is definitely a misstep. I'm sticking with that. It's the world's most expensive fridge magnet, and even people that like Cardona will tell you that these are not the best Cardonas. It's 1 hour video, man. All right, before the sale starts. It's that's the thing. It's a fridge magnet, and like, who's gonna watch are you gonna watch? You've watched them, right? You watched the Cardona films.
I've watched the first one in the box set and half of the next one. I
Exactly.
did not want to finish at this moment.
They're not that fun. I mean, and the worst part is, see, I think Michael, he needed an editor, in much the way that Rob Zombie, when he was doing the Halloween films, needed a script writer. Cardona needed an editor for his films.
See, and we'll disagree there too, because I love both of the zombie Halloween films.
See, yeah, I know. I understand. Most people, like a lot of people, do, but I couldn't get into the second one. I really couldn't. I can deal with the first one, not the director's cut. Like, screw the director's cut, because that scene totally unnecessary. But the theatrical cut, yeah, I'm down with that. See, I don't want Night of a Thousand Cats. I have cats, and I know like what some of those cats were put through in that film, so that kind of takes the fun out of it for me. You can hear my cat meowing.
Speaking of, yeah.
Hello, Mr. Kitty, Mr. Hubert. I call him Meow Meow because he meows like Mr. Meow Meow. Got to check his food there in a second, see if he's got some stuff there. But the thing is, there's not better. I mean, there's not a lot of better. Like there's Night of a Thousand Cats, there's Beaks, right? And even those, it's like, there's a guy throwing cats at a screen, stuff. I'm not down with that. And they're not that good of a film. They're not good enough of a film. Like, one, there's no film that's good enough that you should have like animals being killed or stuff like that, right?
It's never warranted.
But it's even worse when it's like, and I don't want to say a bad film, but mediocre. And you can have like good films, you can have bad films, but don't bore me. Like, don't be mediocre. Don't bore me. Don't go there, because I can't deal with that.
It's a bigger sin.
Like, The Room, Cinema Snob movie. I watch all that, but just don't put me to sleep. Cardona puts me to sleep. So I guess maybe it's a good thing to put on if I got insomnia. But I prefer to listen to podcasts so that I can actually put them on, go to sleep, and actually then turn them on again in the morning and listen to them all the way through. Roar with the animals nearly kill the actors, right? That's the most boring Vinegar syndrome title. The Cardona one's for me, like Semtech, in all honesty. But that's just me. Like, there's people out there that's their jam, and I'm not going to take anything away from people that like them. I'm just giving you my opinion on the films that I like. Like, I thought Hell Riders was okay, but I'm hoping that I'll go and watch it again. Maybe I'll get something else out of it. I'll dig it. I know that I'll never watch the Cardona ones again, and I've only got through like half of one. But so maybe that's like unfair but I've seen them before, and I really have no interest. I have way too many movies to watch that deserve my attention.
Well, there's also a lot of gatekeeping in the hobby lately, and you and I have talked about this before. But people coming in and whining about somebody having an opinion that's different. I just can't understand that.
Yeah, like here's the thing. Oh, Scylla. Well, I can't get past the beginning of Scylla, but if you can, I get it. But yeah, no, I mean, like, I'm not a fan of like you mentioned the Rob Zombie films, and there are people out there that will be like, oh, if you like those Rob Zombie films, I guess you don't really like real horror or real Halloween. Or on the flip side of it, if you don't like the Rob Zombie films, oh, you don't like that, it's too extreme. Like, it's an opinion.
Exactly.
Like my opinion is my opinion. It's not going to change anybody else's opinion. It's not more right than anybody else. Like, it doesn't matter if I watched 1,000 films and you watch 2. It's what you got out of it. And if you enjoy something, and like I just like, there's the ones that's coming out, I'm not really big on. Most people are. I'm in the minority, and I'm okay with that. And I'm okay with everybody else like being excited about it. It's not gonna, I'm not gonna like get. I'm not gonna get on people about it. I can't believe you like that. How can you like that film? Have you seen some like one? What a hypocrite I'd be, because have you seen some movies that I actually like? It's insane stuff. I've written films and they're not that great. Like I have movies out there. One, I wrote 5, but I have one that was actually done, and that wasn't a good movie. And I'm so glad I'm glad the internet is a place where things can die and it's no longer around. So there you go. So I wrote a film that's really bad, by the way, guys. Really bad film. And my script wasn't good, but the movie's even worse. So, yeah.
I love that Videodrome just said what I was about to say. Yeah, not all of Rob Zombie's film looked the same at all.
No, I mean, he's a very stylistic director. I mean, but he doesn't. Not everyone's exactly the same. I love, and I will say this right now: Lords of Salem, for me, hands down, his best film. I love that movie. I know
I'm so glad you agree. I love.
Do you really? Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say the opposite, actually.
No, I think that is his. I think that is his best film, but not my favorite film necessarily.
No, my favorite is Devil's Rejects. His best film is Lords of Salem, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But because he took chances, and I think with the monsters, like people are getting nervous and stuff. I'm not nervous at all, because here's a guy that loves horror, that loves the monsters, that actually had the car. I haven't, and they talk about like, he puts his wife in the films. Well, okay. And a lot of actors put, and a lot of directors put like people that family or have people that they use over and over again. I don't think his wife is a bad actress. I'm sorry. I know some people are going to disagree on that.
She was incredible.
And she hasn't only been in this. She was in like Toolbox Murders, Toe Pooper, which had nothing to do with Rob Zombie, and I think she was the best part of that film. And I actually dug that film. That's one of the ones that I really actually did dig. But yeah,
Rob will come back as a zombie.
Come back as a zombie. Well, yeah, Rob Zombie. There you go. And anyway, I used to like his music before that. I liked White Zombie, and I really dug like Zombie's like solo work. But yeah, it's hard to find people that like Lords of Salem, unfortunately, especially among his fan base. Now, among his fan base,
love Lords of Salem.
Opinions like assholes, everybody has one. That is true.
My opinion seems to change day to day between House of 1,000 Corpses and Devil's Rejects on which one is my favorite.
I like House of 1,000 Corpses for what it does, but it always, can I be honest?
Yeah, of course.
Like I'm not going to be. It always comes back to me that I really feel like he wants to be making Texas Chainsaw Massacre when he's making.
I've been saying that for years. Yeah.
But when he's making House of 1,000 Corpses, when he makes Devil's Rejects, it really feels like he's found his voice. Like his voice is there, and I think when it comes to the Halloween, some of the stuff that I don't like about it, like it has to do with studio interference. But I had to say on the second one, I don't get it. And that's to be bluntly honest. I just don't get it.
He certainly needs help with his dialogue. That's probably the biggest thing overall.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's some beautiful shot stuff, in both those Halloween films, and there's some really nice. The first 15 minutes, 15 20 minutes of Halloween 2, like
It's brutal.
kills. It's really good. But then she wakes up, and I'm like, I really don't like this character. Like I don't like her character. But after rewatching it, I get what he's doing, and I know we're not supposed to. And I know she's going through PTSD, and he does a good job with that.
Right.
But I still think that I'm probably in minority. I think that the 2018 Halloween did a better job of that, because when they say, well, would somebody really be like this? Yeah, I know people that have gone through PTSD, and I know
Right.
people that have been like the Laurie Strode character in the 2018 film. Who has a broken doll? It's a really cool film. I actually really like that film. So yes.
Jerry asked, which VSAs that are still available would you recommend? Alley Cat is the big one that's been recent.
Yeah, Alley Cat 100%. Like Champagne and Bullets, if it gets low, maybe. But Alley Cat for sure. I have not seen Whatever It Takes, so I don't know on that one. I guess
Well, it also won't be on sale.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, there's not a lot. What is left?
House of Usher is also still available.
I got to grab that one this time. It's getting pretty low. And of course, Grave Secrets, which I saw years ago, but I haven't seen it since VHS, so I don't remember it.
And Champagne and Bullets likely will sell out. I'm thinking it'll probably sell out even before tomorrow morning.
Yeah, it's not a good film, but it'll sell out. Like people expect going to that one expecting to see what's his name? One of my favorite bad filmmakers. I'm thinking about the guy that made the one with the twins. Guys, who is it?
Yeah, now I do. For some reason I have the name Richard in my head, but that's not it.
I can't believe he committed suicide. I can't believe it. I can't believe he committed suicide. John Lyons is saying don't believe everything you see on the internet. So maybe the leaks aren't true. That's why you don't go with leaks, guys. Scarlett Taylor Compton's a good actress. Like, I will tell you that right now. She's a really good actress.
Neil Breen.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking about. Neil Breen. Yeah, I love Neil Breen. I would love to see them put out his stuff. He'll never let them, but I would love to see it. Yeah. But no, I'm excited for that. My favorite Scarlett Taylor Compton movie, The Runaways. Big fan of the group.
Big fan of the Runaways is so good.
Love the movie. Dude, I know, but I did forget his name.
Dungeon's got an idea here. He says, I'd like to check out Shit and Champagne and keep getting it confused with Champagne and Bullets. I think we should
better film.
I think we should mash them up and make a movie called Shit and Champagne and Bullets.
I think Shit and Champagne's a better film.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, like 100%. Dude, I'm Michael. See, you're younger. I'm like 50. So some of these brain cells are going, man. Some of these brain cells are going. Also, it's like much later here than it is there. Neil Breen box set collection. I would love that. I would so love that. You know what I want? I want a friggin' those witchcraft films. The painful to watch. I want a box set. I would watch all of them, even the later ones. Like it peaks at like number 6, like 666 with like I think Julie Strain's in that one. But still, I would watch them all. Vinegar Syndrome's put out a big box set. They want to put out a big box set. Witchcraft. It suits their label. It really does.
I don't know if they will though. That's the thing. I feel like they want to keep it at 3 films per box set. I think for subscribers, that's probably one of the reasons that they're doing it, because they don't want to throw out the cost so much of a subscription.
But it can go outside, like the VSUs, like the VSPs. They can do something that's outside.
It would have to be a VSA. The VSP is a completely different thing. It's one that
but like actually just put it outside of everything. Like doesn't have to be part of the subscription.
Right.
Do a box set like that, right? Yeah, Amityville 4. Yeah,
Amityville was 4. Yeah.
You haven't seen 31 or 3 from Hell. I actually like 3 from Hell. I'm in the minority on that one. I did like
3
that
from Hell
film.
was fun. Yeah.
I was not big on 31. I liked the first 5-10 minutes of it, and Richard Brake went out of it, and I just wasn't a big fan.
I got to be honest. 31 is the only one I have not seen yet. I don't know why. I
You might like
just
it more
got
than me, but I just didn't. It just didn't resonate with me that well.
I just got that brand new steelbook they released of it, so I'm hoping to watch it here soon.
That's the killer part, stuff like that.
Not to completely derail the conversation, but I don't understand why some of these labels get so much crap for releasing certain titles or making a decision that gets looked down on. But literally, right now, Dark Force is selling Banana Man autographed diapers.
So what?
Dark Force is selling Banana Man autographed hand-numbered diapers. And yes, they're not respected as a label, but good God, like that is such an awful decision.
But hasn't there been like a bunch of awful decisions from these guys?
Oh yeah, it's completely on brand, but it is such a terrible way to like taint the pool for labels like this.
You know, I'm not. This is why I don't like Dark Force. I can't. I love Blue Monkey. Actually, really huge fan of Blue Monkey.
Yep.
But I haven't bought it because it's a Dark Force film, and I would like to not give money to Dark Force films at this point.
But at least they finally started distributing elsewhere. So if you want, you could get it from Diabolic or Amazon or something.
That's the killer part. That adult diapers. That's the. I don't know, man. I don't like any of that stuff. We have one around here, kind of normal. Blue Monkey will be re-released through Kino. Then I'll probably get it that way. There you go. Then I'll be able to buy it. D'Amato's Porno Holocaust. I kind of remember that film slightly. Is Laura Gempster in Porno Holocaust?
Yes.
That's when I remember. I do remember that film.
Alan, yeah, Saturday the 14th is pretty decent.
Richard Benjamin, right?
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun with that one. Dave takes advantage of Bill. That's what it seems like. But again, I'm not there. I don't know, but that really does seem to be the case. But again, I'm looking at it from the outside, so I really can't say anything.
Well, and from the empathetic side, from what I hear, Walt is actually sick now too.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know what necessarily is going on, but yeah.
That's a shame. I really enjoy some of Scorpion stuff.
Scorpion's great, yeah.
Because and honestly, like Scorpion's around because I know Code Red is still around because Scorpion really helped him out. Like
rescued him,
helped him out.
Yeah, I've got quite a few Scorpions. Got that 3-disc set of Opera from Argento. I got that, and it's amazing. That is still my favorite Argento title.
Love Opera. I don't own that set yet. That's one I definitely got to get down the road because it's always one of those releases. I bought it on VHS back in the day when from like Video Search Miami.
Yeah, Opera is amazing.
But that's the killer part with that type of stuff.
Warlock says, makes you wonder what will happen to all those movie rights. Sadly, legally, it just goes to the people that get their property, and then whoever inherits it, they have the choice to sell it if they'd like.
And more than likely, a lot of those rights are probably going to go to Dark Force.
Absolutely.
And I would rather see it go anywhere else. To be honest with you, I would really rather see it go anywhere else.
Yeah. And for those that don't know, the guy that runs Scorpion Releasing and Bill from Code Red, who kind of still runs Code Red, they are both brothers. And then Dave from Dark Force works closely with Bill.
And it's always been such a, like when you find out, it's such a shock because it's so different.
Right.
when it comes to the way that it's done. Like there is, like we mentioned at forum. If you ever go on there and you see like Code Red's, like definitely stay off of Code Red's forum things. You do go on there,
Right?
Because that's the killer part about it. But in a second, we'll be like switching over to the other channel. So for those that are at the Crimson Cult, we will be going over to look at the, do our last kind of like talk before the announcements are made. So that'll be interesting to see. And unlike other people that already know the announcements, we don't. And as John said, maybe we don't know the announcement. So leaks. Some things can get leaked, and sometimes things get leaked wrong.
And don't forget, we still have like 2 partner label announcements as well.
Exactly, and 70 SOAR. Both of them are 70 SOAR. I'm expecting AGFA to be one of those. Just based on what's their what they do. But if you are a part of if you are a part of my Patreon, it's down below underneath Mr. Disconnected's link. By the way, you should, if you're not, you should be 100% like subscribe to his channel, because look at the knowledge that he drops. Look at the stuff that he knows. It's insane. Like eventually I'll retire and it'll be like Disconnected and Michael and Master Chaos and those guys. Those will be the guys that will like kind of take over my reign type of thing. And I will be, you know what? And when that happens, and I'm just sitting back in my rocking chair, like reading comics and watching movies, it'll be happy. It'll be a happy time, because I know it's been that the people that take over are doing a great job. Anywho, I am Aaron. This here, bloody hell. This here.
This way, right? Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. There you go. This here is Disconnected, whose channel you definitely should be checking out. See us over in a couple minutes over at the other channel, and on Patreon, link down below, and I will see you guys soon. Have a great night, and if you don't see me and you're over somewhere else, enjoy your Black Friday shopping, because we're going to. We might cry afterwards, but we're gonna enjoy it.
My wallet will.
Yeah. A lot of bagging to my better half, and that's the truth. There you go. All right, guys. So thank you so much for coming in, and have a fantastic night there.
See you all soon.
See you soon. I'll see you soon. It's going to come in.